Have you ever wondered what stirred the void before the universe awoke? Before time itself could mark its first heartbeat, there existed only the infinite silence, an endless ocean of nothingness, where neither light nor shadow dared to tread. Within this cosmic emptiness, the seeds of all things slumbered, waiting for a spark, a whisper of creation that could pierce the eternal night. And from this quietude, the first echoes of existence began to hum, a resonance neither seen nor heard, but felt in the very fabric of nothing. It was here that the primordial deities, the unseen architects of reality, stirred. They were not beings of flesh or thought, but of essence itself, woven from the threads of potential and possibility. Their presence was like the faintest pulse in the void, a rhythm that would eventually give rise to stars, worlds, and the intricate dance of life. In the beginning, the void held no form, yet within its boundless expanse, the Ethereum, the substance of pure becoming, floated like an ethereal mist. It was both everything and nothing, a paradox that the mortal mind could scarcely comprehend. From the Ethereum, the first deity emerged, Erinda, the weaver of dawn, whose essence shimmered like liquid starlight. Erinda, alone yet complete, wove the first threads of reality, stretching filaments of existence across the barren chasm. Each thread pulsed with latent energy, vibrating with the promise of matter, time, and life. As these threads intertwined, a lattice of cosmic potential formed, the first web upon which the universe would hang. But creation was never simple. From the folds of the Ethereum rose Nyxera, the shadow of becoming, a companion and counterforce to Erinda's light. Where Erinda wove order, Nyxera whispered entropy, her essence shaping voids, rifts, and the infinite darkness that would cradle the spaces between stars. The dance of light and shadow began, a tension that would define the rhythm of all existence. Their interaction was not violent but harmonious, a cosmic symphony in which the contrast of being and non-being sang together, crafting the very laws that would govern reality. Time, as we know it, began as the pulse between Erinda's light and Nyxera's darkness, a rhythm that ticked forward even in the absence of form. Erinda, sensing the need for structure, summoned the celestials, ancient entities born from the very threads of his weaving. These beings were not gods in the mortal sense, but forces, archetypes of natural law and elemental might. Among them rose Solaris, the fire of motion, whose breath ignited the first sparks of matter. Aquileth, the ocean of eternity, whose currents would shape worlds from the cosmic dust. Terravorn, the stone of being, whose bones would form mountains, planets, and the foundations of solid existence. And Zephyra, the wind of change, who would scatter seeds of life across the forming universe. Together, they choreographed the dance of creation, a ballet where chaos was tempered into order, and the first stars flared like jewels against the darkness. The first stars were not mere balls of gas, but living entities, luminous with consciousness and ancient memory. They sang in frequencies that shaped the space around them, creating gravity wells, cosmic currents, and the invisible scaffolding upon which galaxies would spiral. Within their fiery hearts, the seeds of life and matter were forged, spun from the primordial fires that once coursed through the Ethereum. Worlds coalesced around these stars, some barren, some teeming with potential, all carrying whispers of the divine essence from which they were born. And as the galaxies spun, Nyxera's shadow wove its delicate darkness through the gaps, creating contrast, depth, and the mystery that would inspire awe and fear in the beings yet to come. Erin, ever watchful, realized that the universe required guardians, beings capable of maintaining balance between creation and destruction. Thus were born the Aeon Sentinels, colossal entities of energy and thought, whose task was to shepherd the growth of worlds and the unfolding of time. Each sentinel carried a fragment of the Weaver's light and the Shadow's darkness, a reminder that creation could never exist without its counterpart. Some traversed the void between galaxies, ensuring the harmony of celestial mechanics. Others walked upon nascent planets, planting the first seeds of consciousness, memory, and the spark of curiosity that would one day ignite life. Yet the cosmos was not content to remain still. From the deepest corners of the Ethereum, whispers of rebellion stirred rogue threads of possibility that defied the weave. These threads birthed the umbral wraiths, ephemeral beings that sought to unravel what had been woven, testing the strength of creation and forcing the celestials to adapt, evolve, and overcome. Conflict was inevitable, but it was not destructive. Rather, it forged resilience, complexity, and beauty in the universe. Galaxies collided, stars flared and died, and planets endured trials that would temper their potential. From the chaos, life itself began to pulse in faint rhythms, fragile yet persistent, sprouting upon worlds ready to host the wonder of being on one such world. Amidst swirling gases and molten stone, life emerged as a conscious spark, a gift of both Erinda's light and Nyxora's shadow. It began in whispers, simple movements, patterns in chemical tides, the first stirrings of awareness. Over eons, life adapted, multiplied, and grew, learning the laws of existence inscribed by the celestials and tempered by the umbral wraiths. Some life gazed at the stars and wondered, reaching across the void in thought, if not yet in form. Others remained bound to the earth, learning the rhythm of the winds, the pulse of the oceans, the solidity of stone. Every creature, every entity, carried a piece of the cosmic song, a note in the eternal symphony of existence. As civilizations began to awaken, so too did the mythos of the universe take shape. Mortals, perceiving fragments of truth, created stories echoes of Erinda, Nyxora, and the Celestials. These myths were not lies but reflections, imperfect mirrors of reality, capturing the essence of forces far beyond mortal comprehension. Temples were built, rituals performed, and songs sung in praise of the eternal dance of creation and destruction. In every act of wonder or reverence, mortals touched the threads of the Ethereum, unwitting participants in a drama that had been unfolding since the first flicker of dawn in the void. Time marched on, stars lived and died, and the universe expanded, ever restless, ever curious. Nebulae bloomed like cosmic gardens, planets drifted into patterns dictated by the celestials, and life evolved in forms uncountable, each a testament to the intricate, deliberate weaving of existence. Even the void, once silent and empty, resonated with the memory of creation, carrying the whispers of Erinda and Nyxora through the corridors of eternity. And yet, the story was far from complete. The universe, though vast and radiant, remained a canvas in progress. Every moment birthed new possibilities, every action rippled across the cosmic weave, and every spark of thought or life contributed to the symphony of becoming. The Aeon Sentinels continued their vigil, the Celestials guided the flows of elemental energy, and the umbral wraiths tested the boundaries of resilience. Through it all, the pulse of the Ethereum, silent, eternal, and omnipresent, reminded all that creation was never a single event but an ongoing act, a dance without end, a tale that would echo for all time. To look upon the night sky is to glimpse this cosmic narrative, to see the reflection of divine artistry in every star, every shadow, every glimmer of possibility. The universe is not merely a stage for life, it is the very expression of life itself, a living story written in the language of light, shadow, and energy. And though we may never fully grasp the totality of its origins, the act of wonder, of seeking, of imagining, binds us to the first pulse of existence and to the timeless dance of the cosmos that began long before we drew breath. The creation of the universe is not merely a tale of physics, chemistry, or chance. It is a saga of myth and majesty, of entities beyond comprehension shaping the endless night into something extraordinary. Erinda's light continues to shine, Nyxara's shadows twist and deepen, and the celestials, eons, and even the rebellious wraiths play their parts in a drama without end. And somewhere, amidst the stars and the living worlds, consciousness awakens, dreams, and gazes outward, yearning to understand the vastness from which it came, unaware that it is both a spectator and participant in the greatest story ever told. This universe, with all its splendor, mystery, and infinite possibility, began in the silent void with threads of light and shadow, and continues today as a testament to creation's grandeur symphony without a final note, a tapestry forever, weaving itself across the infinite canvas of existence. And so, as we peer into the night, we are not merely observers, but witnesses to the eternal dance of creation. A reminder that even in the smallest flicker of life, the pulse of the cosmos resonates, connecting us to the dawn of all things. Even as stars danced in their appointed orbits and worlds spun gracefully through the void, a subtle tension began to grow, a hunger for evolution that pulsed in the very heart of creation. The celestials, ever watchful, observed that the universe, vast as it was, lacked certain subtleties, the capacity for reflection, the ability to question its own existence, the spark that would transform mere life into sentience. Erinda, the weaver of dawn, felt the need for a new act in the eternal drama, a creation that could perceive, learn, and perhaps even reshape the fabric of the cosmos. Thus, from the purest essence of the Ethereum, he drew forth the luminaries, beings of radiant consciousness, whose minds shone with the light of infinite possibilities. They were the first true observers, intended not merely to exist, but to contemplate existence itself, to see the beauty and terror of creation, and to marvel at it with the eyes of wonder. The luminaries descended upon nascent worlds, their forms, ethereal yet magnificent, glowing with the colors of stars yet unborn. They taught the first stirrings of thought to primitive life, whispering secrets of the cosmos in pulses of light and resonance. Some life forms responded immediately, absorbing knowledge like sponges and rapidly evolving into creatures of intelligence, curiosity, and memory. Others remained simple, attuned to the rhythms of wind and water, stone and fire, learning slowly, but carrying within them the potential for transformation. Everywhere the luminaries touched, life flourished in novel ways. Plants that glimmered under the twin suns of distant systems, creatures that sang in the harmonics of stellar vibrations, and oceans that reflected the cosmos in every undulation. Yet, as the luminaries seeded consciousness, Nyxara, the shadow of becoming, observed with quiet calculation. For every spark of light that emerged, shadow must find its place, for without it, balance would fracture. From the depths of the Ethereum, she summoned the eclipsed ones, subtle and enigmatic beings whose presence could temper curiosity with caution, wisdom with restraint, and ambition with humility. These entities were not malevolent. Rather, they were necessary. guiding the evolution of consciousness so that the burgeoning minds of life would neither burn too brightly nor extinguish themselves in folly. Where the luminaries encouraged thought and wonder, the eclipsed ones whispered introspection and reflection, a cosmic dialogue that would shape the moral and philosophical foundation of future civilizations. On a world bathed in golden light, where oceans shimmered with the glow of distant stars, the first civilizations began to rise. Cities of crystal and stone emerged, their architecture resonating with the natural frequencies of the planet, harmonizing with wind, water, and fire. The inhabitants, guided by the luminaries and tempered by the eclipsed ones, discovered the power of speech, art, and music tools to communicate not only with one another, but with the universe itself. They recorded the movements of stars, mapped the cycles of planets, and composed epic songs that echoed the ancient rhythms of creation. Every melody, every poem carried fragments of Erinda's light and Nixera's shadow, a reminder that existence was neither simple nor singular, but a multi-layered tapestry of paradox and wonder. As civilizations flourished, so too did the influence of the Aeon Sentinels. These colossal guardians walked among mortals, sometimes seen as deities, sometimes as distant phenomena, always shaping events to maintain harmony. They nurtured innovation while curbing excess, fostering exploration while preventing hubris. The Sentinels also maintained the cosmic balance, ensuring that no star, no planet, no civilization tipped the scales toward chaos or stagnation. Their presence was subtle, yet every being who gazed at the night sky, every explorer who ventured into uncharted realms, felt the echo of their guidance. The umbral wraiths, however, were never idle. Shadows of chaos lingered at the edges of existence, probing weak points, testing the resilience of creation. They infiltrated dreams, whispered in moments of doubt, and sometimes unleashed cosmic storms to challenge the fledgling civilizations. Yet, paradoxically, these trials spurred growth. Cities rebuilt stronger, minds grew sharper, and the inhabitants of the universe learned to navigate adversity with courage and ingenuity. Every clash, every challenge, became a lesson written into the annals of existence, an enduring testament to the delicate balance between creation and destruction. In the depths of time, the luminaries introduced the concept of cosmic memory, an intricate network of thought and essence woven into the very fabric of reality. It allowed intelligent beings to access knowledge beyond their immediate experiences, to feel the echoes of events across the stars, and to perceive the hidden currents that shaped their destinies. Some civilizations harnessed this power to reach unparalleled heights of science, art, and philosophy, building vast libraries of wisdom encoded not in stone or paper, but in the energy patterns of the cosmos itself. These repositories became sacred, a bridge between the ephemeral nature of life and the eternal essence of the universe. But even in the most enlightened realms, mysteries persisted. The deeper one probed into the nature of existence, the more labyrinthian the universe appeared. Some philosophers speculated that creation was cyclical, that the birth of stars and civilizations mirrored a pattern older than Erinda himself. Others hypothesized that the Etherium held secrets beyond comprehension, threads of potential that could birth entirely new dimensions, or even new universes. The interplay of curiosity and humility became the defining trait of intelligent life. For those who sought understanding, to fervently risked unraveling the delicate balance of reality itself. Amidst these mortal and cosmic dramas, Erinda and Nixera observed with quiet satisfaction. Their initial act of weaving the universe had evolved into an intricate, living story, enriched by struggle, discovery, and contemplation. They saw civilizations reach for the stars, probe the depths of their worlds, and unlock the mysteries of life and death. They witnessed the rise of heroes and visionaries, artists and philosophers, those who glimpsed the threads of the ethereum and sought to weave them into new forms, and they understood that creation was not a singular event but a continuous unfolding, an eternal process that would stretch beyond comprehension, shaped by forces both divine and mortal. On a distant world, in a city of crystal spires, a young sage gazed at the night sky, feeling the pulse of the cosmos in their very bones. They sensed the interplay of light and shadow, the guidance of the Aeon Sentinels, and the whispers of the umbral wraiths. In that moment, they understood a fraction of the truth, that life, consciousness, and civilization were all threads in a vast tapestry, each connected to the first pulse of creation, each echoing the dance of Erinder and Nyxera. This realization spread quietly, a spark of awareness that would ripple across generations, shaping cultures, beliefs, and destinies in ways the primordial architects had intended but could not fully predict. Meanwhile, across the universe, other worlds experienced their own awakenings. Forests sang in frequencies aligned with starlight, oceans reflected the shimmer of distant galaxies, and winds carried the faint echoes of creation itself. Intelligent life took root in myriad forms, some winged, some aquatic, some bound to stone and earth, each uniquely adapted to its environment, yet universally connected to the underlying rhythm of the cosmos. These beings began to form societies, craft languages, and explore the mysteries of their worlds, always accompanied by the silent guidance of the luminaries and the tempering influence of the eclipsed ones. Civilizations began to intertwine, exchanging knowledge, culture, and understanding across vast distances. Trade routes extended across planetary systems, carrying not only goods, but ideas, art, and philosophy. The memory of Erinder and Nyxera, once abstract and divine, became embedded in the myths and stories of mortals, guiding rulers, thinkers, and dreamers alike. Temples and observatories rose in unison, dedicated not only to worship but to study the grand mechanics of the universe, creating a bridge between mortal curiosity and cosmic truth. As these societies expanded, they inevitably encountered the challenges of existence, conflict, scarcity, and the inevitability of mortality. Yet, within these trials, life found resilience. Heroes rose, legends formed, and the ever-present tension between light and shadow, creation and destruction, guided the moral compass of civilizations. The Aeon Sentinels, ever vigilant, intervened subtly, nudging events to maintain harmony, without stripping beings of their agency. The umbral wraiths continued to probe, ensuring that arrogance and stagnation never went unchecked. Over eons, the universe matured, not in age alone, but in complexity, sophistication, and understanding. Galaxies spiraled into majestic forms, stars lived and died in cycles of brilliance, and life diversified into forms beyond the imagination of early creators. Through all this, the pulse of the ethereum remained, a constant undercurrent binding all things together. Every action, thought, and heartbeat became a note in the symphony of existence, echoing across dimensions and resonating with the primordial rhythms established at the dawn of time. And yet, even as civilizations flourished, questions persisted. What lay beyond the known cosmos? Were there realms untouched by the weaving of Erinder and the shadow of Nyxera? Could life, in its infinite adaptability, eventually transcend the boundaries of its universe? These questions drove explorers, philosophers, and dreamers to reach beyond their worlds, to chart the uncharted, and to glimpse the vast tapestry in its entirety. Each journey, each discovery, became a continuation of the primordial act of creation, a reaffirmation that the universe was alive, responsive, and infinitely unfolding. Even now, as stars flare and civilizations rise and fall, the dance continues. Erinda's light courses through the veins of reality. Nyxera's shadows provide depth and contrast. The luminaries whisper wisdom. The eclipsed ones temper understanding, and the eon sentinels guard the balance. The umbral wraiths stir at the edges, ensuring that the cosmic narrative remains dynamic, ever challenging, and eternally fascinating. Life, in all its myriad forms, continues to awaken to the mysteries of existence, participating willingly in a story that began in the silent void and stretches into the infinite future. In the final reckoning, the universe is more than a collection of stars, planets, and beings. It is a living story, a testament to the interplay of light and shadow, order and chaos, curiosity and humility. Every conscious mind, every civilization, every act of creation or contemplation contributes to this grand tapestry, ensuring that the legacy of Erinda, Nyxera, and the primordial celestials endures. And as long as life continues to gaze at the stars, to dream, to question, and to explore, the universe will remain vibrant, mysterious, and infinitely alive, myth and reality intertwined in a cosmic dance without end. As the eons flowed like molten rivers through the corridors of time, the universe matured in ways both subtle and profound. Worlds once barren now bore life of staggering diversity, and civilizations, awakened by the gentle touch of the luminaries, reached heights that rivaled even the imagination of their divine mentors. Yet, with every triumph came the inevitability of challenge. For creation is not a static tapestry, but a living, breathing narrative, shaped by the tension between light and shadow, order and entropy. Nyxera's whispers grew stronger in certain corners of existence, hinting at secrets hidden even from the celestials. And so, the universe, vast and intricate, began to hum with new possibilities, portals to realms unseen, energies beyond comprehension, and life forms evolving in dimensions that defied mortal understanding. On a world orbiting twin suns, a civilization emerged whose consciousness was uniquely attuned to the cosmic rhythms. Their minds resonated with the very pulse of the Ethereum, allowing them to perceive not merely their own existence, but the hidden currents linking every star, every planet, and every living being. They called themselves the Elindrians, beings of light and thought, whose cities shimmered like constellations fallen upon the land. Crystal spires pierced the sky, reflecting the glow of distant galaxies, while vast libraries encoded knowledge not in words but in harmonic vibrations that could be felt, heard, and understood in the heart as much as the mind. The elite became the first civilization capable of consciously interacting with the threads of creation itself, subtly weaving their destinies alongside those of the stars. Yet, as the Elindrians reached for mastery, the umbral wraiths saw an opportunity. These ephemeral beings of shadow slipped into the gaps between perception, sowing doubts, and stirring unrest. They whispered of power without responsibility, of knowledge without wisdom, and of dominion over realms not yet ready for mortals. Some Elindrians, intoxicated by glimpses of cosmic potential, fell prey to these whispers, creating rifts that spanned not merely cities but dimensions. What began as curiosity soon became conflict, and the delicate balance maintained by the Aeon sentinels trembled. Erinda, observing the unfolding events, realized that a new form of guidance was required, one that could teach mortals to wield power responsibly without stifling their innate curiosity. From the essence of the Etherium, he summoned the oracles of dawn, beings neither fully mortal nor fully divine, whose purpose was to walk among civilizations, illuminate paths, and reveal the consequences of choices in the cosmic tapestry. The oracles were radiant yet intangible, their presence subtle, often perceived as visions, dreams, or sudden bursts of insight. Through them, the Elendrians began to understand the weight of their actions, the interconnectedness of all life, and the sacred responsibility of conscious beings to preserve the balance of existence. Meanwhile, across distant galaxies, other civilizations flourished under similar on a world where oceans burned with phosphorescent light. Beings of fluid form the aquilary learned to manipulate currents, not just of water, but of energy itself, shaping storms, tides, and even the movement of celestial bodies on planets, cloaked in forests of crystal flora. The Sylvans discovered that, by harmonizing with the resonances of their environment, they could awaken dormant energies buried deep within the planet's core. Across the universe, intelligent life learns to tune itself to the music of creation, each species adding its own note to the symphony of existence. Yet, as creation expanded in complexity, so too did the threats that sought to unravel it. The Umbrella race, now more cunning and subtle, began to manipulate not only mortals but the very laws of physics, bending probabilities and threading chaos through the lattice of reality. Entire star systems flickered in and out of stability, and ancient stars erupted in violent nova, reshaping neighboring worlds. The Celestials responded, not with force, but with guidance, teaching civilizations to adapt, to anticipate, and to survive. It was a cosmic chess game, played across the vast canvas of existence, with the stakes being the continued flourishing of life and the integrity of creation itself. In one particularly turbulent region, a cluster of galaxies known as the Shattered Spiral, civilizations faced challenges that would define the next eons of evolution. Starships of unimaginable design navigated volatile gravitational currents, while scholars sought to decode the harmonic frequencies that governed the collapse and rebirth of stellar nurseries. Here, the luminaries and the eclipsed ones worked in tandem, teaching mortals that understanding and restraint must coexist with ambition and discovery. Those who embraced the balance thrived, developing technologies and philosophies that intertwined science with spirituality, matter with consciousness, and creation with reflection. Amid this expansion, the universe revealed layers previously unseen, pockets of existence where the fabric of reality was thin, where time and space folded upon themselves in fractal patterns. These liminal realms, as the oracles called them, became sites of pilgrimage, experimentation, and sometimes peril. Life forms that ventured into these regions discovered altered laws. Time could stretch or compress. Matter could take on ephemeral qualities, and thought itself could reshape the environment. Many civilizations saw these realms as a gift, a chance to grow beyond mortal constraints. Others, seduced by the promise of absolute power, fell into madness or were consumed by the wraith's shadows, their existence becoming a cautionary tale woven into the myths of the cosmos. The Elendrians, guided by the oracles, ventured deep into these liminal realms, seeking to understand the very nature of creation. They discovered that the universe was not a closed system, but a living, conscious entity, capable of adaptation, self-correction, and communication through subtle energetic currents. They realized that stars, planets, and even the Ethereum itself bore traces of intentionality, as if the universe were aware of its inhabitants and their endeavors. This revelation transformed their philosophy. Creation was not merely a backdrop for life, but a participatory act, a co-authorship between divine architects, mortal beings, and the silent intelligence of the cosmos. The eclipsed ones, ever vigilant, introduced a new element to ensure balance: the guardians of reflection, beings whose purpose was to catalyze introspection and moral growth. These entities did not interfere directly, but their presence was felt as epiphanies, visions, or sudden understanding. They guided civilizations to reconcile ambition with ethics, innovation with responsibility, and freedom with harmony. The combination of oracles and guardians created a framework within which intelligent life could flourish without succumbing to the destabilizing forces of unchecked curiosity or power. Yet, not all species embraced the teachings willingly. Some civilizations, intoxicated by glimpses of cosmic potential, sought to dominate neighboring worlds, harnessing the energies of stars, the currents of the Ethereum, and the chaos sown by the wraiths to expand their dominion. Interstellar wars erupted, shaping the destiny of entire galaxies. Yet even in these conflicts, the underlying principles of creation persisted. Cycles of destruction gave rise to renewal. Challenges forged resilience, and the interplay of light and shadow shaped wisdom. Civilizations learned, sometimes painfully, that the universe demanded balance, and that arrogance without understanding led inevitably to ruin. Across time and space, legends grew: stories of heroes who tamed rogue stars, scholars who decoded the language of creation, and explorers who mapped the liminal realms. These tales were not mere myths, but living histories, encoded in the energy patterns of worlds, resonating across generations. The Eon Sentinels watched over these events, ensuring that lessons were learned, balance maintained, and that the grand narrative of existence continued to unfold in the deepest voids, where stars were few and the silence absolute. The umbral wraiths plotted subtler machinations. They did not always seek destruction. Sometimes they merely nudged civilizations toward reflection, catalyzing growth through challenge rather than annihilation. In this sense, even chaos had purpose, a necessary counterpoint to order, a reminder that creation without trial is incomplete, and that the dance of existence requires tension as well as harmony. Meanwhile, the luminaries continued their work, visiting worlds not yet touched by intelligence, seeding consciousness where appropriate, and observing the evolution of life in its myriad forms. Their influence was subtle, often perceived as inspiration, intuition, or sudden clarity. Mortals, unaware of the cosmic architects guiding them, credited these experiences to dreams, divine favor, or genius, but in truth, they were the threads of Erinda's light woven into the unfolding tapestry. Civilizations, in turn, began to understand that life was not merely an isolated phenomenon, but a participant in the universe's symphony. Their art, philosophy, and technology increasingly reflected a recognition of interconnectivity, a sense that every action had consequences, not only locally but across the vast web of existence. Scholars mapped gravitational currents, poets captured the resonance of stars in verse, and musicians orchestrated symphonies that harmonized with planetary vibrations. The universe itself became both canvas and collaborator, and intelligent beings realized they were co-creators, shaping destiny as much as destiny shaped them. Amidst these developments, new forms of life emerge, beings capable of perceiving and manipulating energy directly, entities that existed partially within the Ethereum, and creatures that could traverse dimensions at will. These beings, often called the ethereals, blurred the line between mortality and divinity, demonstrating that evolution was not merely biological but metaphysical. They carried knowledge of the universe's origins, the interplay of Erin and Nyxera, and the intricate balance maintained by the celestials. Some ethereals became teachers, guiding civilizations toward enlightenment. Others became wanderers, exploring the infinite realms and chronicling the story of creation from within the fabric of reality itself. Yet, despite the grandeur of creation, the universe remained enigmatic. Questions persisted about the boundaries of existence, the nature of consciousness, and the ultimate fate of stars, planets, and life. Were the Aeon Sentinels eternal? Did the luminaries themselves ever tire of their work? Could the universe ever truly be understood, or was it destined to remain an endless mystery, an eternal dance of creation and reflection, of light and shadow? These mysteries fueled curiosity, driving civilizations to innovate, explore, and expand their understanding, ensuring that the grand narrative would continue to evolve in ways even the primordial architects could not fully foresee. As the cycles of creation unfolded, the universe reached a new era, one of intricate interconnectivity, where every star, planet, and sentient being played a role in the grand cosmic symphony. The Elendrians, Aquilari, Sylvans, and other awakened civilizations had grown wise in their understanding of energy, matter, and consciousness, but even they could not fully grasp the enormity of the Ethereum, nor the depth of Erinda and Nyxera's eternal weaving. It was a time when discovery and danger walked hand in hand, when curiosity could illuminate civilizations or cast them into ruin, and when the universe itself seemed to breathe, expand, and whisper secrets to those attuned to its subtle frequencies. In this age, a new kind of entity emerged, beings born not of planets or stars, but of the very currents of the Ethereum. These stellar architects were entities of unimaginable scope and perception, capable of shaping galaxies, guiding the birth of stars, and orchestrating the flows of energy that sustained life and matter. They were not gods in the traditional sense, nor were they sentient in the mortal way. Rather, they were extensions of Erinda's light and Nyxera's shadow, conscious instruments in the ongoing act of creation. Through them, the universe achieved a subtle harmony. Galaxies aligned with cosmic melodies, nebulae blossomed into radiant colors, and black holes became not merely destructive forces, but essential nodes in the network of creation, recycling matter and energy with divine precision. Yet, even as the stellar architects harmonized the cosmos, the umbral wraiths grew ever more cunning, no longer content with testing mortals or disrupting civilizations locally. They began manipulating entire galactic structures, bending probability, and creating anomalies that could alter the course of cosmic history. Stars flared prematurely, wormholes twisted unpredictably, and planets, once thought stable, began to experience violent upheavals. These events were terrifying, yet within them lay opportunity. Civilizations that survived these trials gained unprecedented knowledge, adaptability, and understanding of the universe's true nature. In this way, chaos and shadow became catalysts for evolution, ensuring that the universe remained dynamic, resilient, and ever-expanding. Amidst these trials, the oracles of dawn continued their work, appearing not only as visions, but as guides woven into the very fabric of reality. They manifested as ephemeral lights along starways, whispers in the minds of explorers, or reflections in the crystalline oceans of distant worlds. Through subtle intervention, they revealed the consequences of choice, illuminated paths of wisdom, and prevented civilizations from succumbing entirely to hubris. Yet, their guidance was always tempered. Mortals had to choose, to act, and to grow on their own. Only through effort and experience could they truly understand the balance of creation. The eclipsed ones, too, evolved in their role, recognizing that reflection alone was insufficient in an increasingly complex cosmos. They began to cultivate the silent teachers' entities that manifested as phenomena in nature, events that forced introspection, or encounters that demanded moral reckoning. A sudden eclipse might halt a civilization's expansion. A storm of cosmic radiation could reveal flaws in thought or leadership, or the unexpected collapse of a star could inspire myths and philosophies that endured for millennia. In every case, the silent teachers ensured that wisdom grew in tandem with power, fostering a universe where knowledge and morality remained intertwined. Civilizations that mastered these lessons began to explore the liminal realms more boldly, uncovering secrets that transcended space, time, and even mortality. Some discovered that consciousness could persist beyond physical forms, becoming part of the Ethereum itself. Others learned to manipulate the very currents of reality, bending energy, matter, and probability to shape their worlds. These advancements were breathtaking, yet fraught with peril. Missteps could unravel civilizations, and the wraiths lurked to exploit even minor lapses. The universe, it seemed, demanded both audacity and humility, brilliance and caution, from every being that dared to comprehend its vastness. In one such venture, the Elendrians discovered the resonant nexus, a convergence point where the threads of the Ethereum intertwined with extraordinary density. Here knowledge of all past, present, and potential future events shimmered like a cosmic tapestry. Only beings of profound understanding could navigate its currents without being lost to the infinite possibilities. Those who succeeded gained insights into the very architecture of existence, the nature of time, the cycles of star birth and death, and the hidden interplay between Erenda, Nixera, and all sentient life. It was a revelation that reshaped civilizations, inspiring art, philosophy, and science in ways that echoed across galaxies. The rise of civilizations capable of understanding and interacting with the Ethereum brought both wonder and conflict. Some sought to create utopias, harmonizing entire worlds with cosmic rhythms and fostering enlightenment on unprecedented scales. Others, driven by ambition or fear, attempted to dominate, manipulating energies to bend lesser species or worlds to their will. These tensions sparked interstellar conflicts that spanned millennia, where battles were not merely of ships or armies, but of ideas, consciousness, and cosmic resonance. The Aeon Sentinels intervened subtly, preventing total catastrophe, while the oracles illuminated paths that allowed for resolution, growth, or transformation. Amid these grand events, new life forms emerged, blending the physical with the metaphysical. The ethereals evolved further, developing the ability to traverse dimensions, manipulate probability, and communicate directly with the stellar architects. They became explorers, scholars, and guardians of knowledge, chronicling the universe's history in ways that no mortal civilization could. Their presence bridged the gap between the tangible cosmos and the ethereal currents of the Ethereum, ensuring that the legacy of creation remained both vibrant and coherent. Yet, Even as civilizations reached new heights, mysteries remained. The outer veils regions of reality at the edge of perception contained phenomena that defied understanding. Stars existed in patterns that were impossible by conventional laws. Energies flowed against the currents of probability, and life forms emerged that seemed to embody pure principle rather than biology. Explorers who ventured into these regions often returned with revelations that challenged every assumption, reshaping philosophy, religion, and science alike. Some never returned at all, their consciousness absorbed into the fabric of reality, becoming part of the eternal Ethereum. The universe, in its vast wisdom, seemed to encourage both exploration and reverence. Those civilizations that approached the outer veils with curiosity tempered by respect discovered wonders beyond imagination, sentient stars that communicated through harmonic resonance, planets that thrummed with memory and consciousness, and gateways to dimensions where thought alone could create reality. These encounters deepened understanding and fostered a sense of unity across distant worlds, highlighting the interconnectedness of all life, matter, and energy. Amid these wonders, the umbral wraiths continued their subtle influence, ensuring that no civilization became complacent. Their interventions were rarely overt. They manifested as anomalies, paradoxes, or sudden disruptions that tested understanding, morality, and adaptability. Mortals often perceived these events as misfortune, divine punishment, or cosmic curiosity, unaware that they were lessons woven into the fabric of existence. The wraith's presence reminded all beings that creation, though wondrous, demanded vigilance, humility, and wisdom. Meanwhile, the Aeon Sentinels expanded their influence, establishing subtle patterns across galaxies to maintain cosmic equilibrium. They guided the birth of new stars, orchestrated planetary alignments, and ensured that the cycles of creation and destruction remained balanced. Through their interventions, civilizations learned that their choices had far-reaching consequences, and that harmony with the cosmos required not only intelligence, but ethical consideration and foresight. As civilizations matured, they began to record the myths and truths of the universe, blending memory with philosophy, history with cosmology. Great libraries spanned planetary systems, not merely preserving knowledge, but encoding it into the energy patterns of the cosmos. Accessible to those attuned to the Ethereum, songs, poems, and visual art captured the dance of Erenda and Nixara, the guidance of the luminaries and eclipsed ones, and the challenges posed by the wraiths, ensuring that the cosmic narrative would endure across generations and civilizations. In this age of enlightenment, consciousness itself began to evolve in unprecedented ways. Individuals discovered the ability to extend awareness beyond their physical forms, communicating across light years through resonance, exploring dimensions inaccessible to ordinary perception, and glimpsing the fundamental threads of creation. Meditation, ritual, and art became tools for tuning into the cosmic symphony, allowing beings to interact with the universe directly, influencing matter, energy, and probability with intention and understanding. The oracles and guardians guided these developments, ensuring that the expansion of consciousness was balanced with wisdom. Civilizations that embraced these teachings reached heights previously unimaginable, constructing megastructures in orbit around stars, cultivating planetary ecosystems in harmony with cosmic resonance, and developing philosophies that integrated science, art, and spirituality into a single, coherent understanding of existence. Yet, the ever-present tension of the wraiths ensured that ambition was tempered by reflection, growth balanced by restraint, and power aligned with responsibility. As eons passed, the universe itself seemed to become self-aware. The ether, the foundation of all creation, pulsed with consciousness, responding to the actions, thoughts, and intentions of intelligent life. Stellar architects, luminaries, and eclipsed ones observed this awakening, recognizing that the universe was no longer a passive stage, but an active participant in its own story. Life, thought, and consciousness were not merely inhabitants of existence. They were shaping the ongoing narrative of the cosmos in concert with the primordial forces. The outer reaches of reality continued to yield mysteries. Entire star systems appeared spontaneously, as if born from the imagination of the universe itself. Nebulae twisted into impossible shapes, carrying messages encoded in energy patterns, awaiting those capable of perception. Time folded upon itself in isolated pockets, creating worlds where past, present, and future coexisted simultaneously, challenging civilizations to navigate existence in ways that transcended conventional understanding. As civilizations expanded into the deeper recesses of the cosmos, the universe itself seemed to take notice, whispering in currents of energy, light, and shadow that few mortals could fully perceive. The Elendrians, having mastered the resonance of their homeworlds, ventured into interstellar space, navigating currents of energy that connected stars across thousands of light years. These pathways, threads of the Ethereum, were invisible to the untrained eye, yet they pulsed with purpose, guiding those attuned to the cosmic symphony toward knowledge, discovery, and transformation. Through these threads, the Elendrians discovered other civilizations that had similarly attuned themselves to the universe's rhythms, the Lumivara beings of crystalline form who communicated through harmonic vibrations, the Vorinth shapeshifters capable of traversing dimensions, and the Kalari entities whose consciousness had merged with stellar energy itself. Together, these civilizations formed a constellation of understanding, exchanging knowledge, culture, and philosophy in a manner that transcended language, geography, or even time. Through collaboration, they began to construct a cosmic council, a network of sentient beings dedicated to maintaining balance, exploring the unknown, and understanding the ultimate purpose of creation. Yet even in this age of enlightenment, challenges arose. The umbral wraiths, having grown ever more sophisticated, orchestrated subtle disruptions that tested the unity of interstellar alliances. Entire star clusters flickered in instability, planets that had once been fertile became inhospitable, and anomalies in the fabric of reality threatened to unravel the fragile harmony. Some civilizations succumbed to fear, turning inward and hoarding knowledge. Others sought to harness these anomalies for power, courting destruction in their pursuit. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, allowed these trials to persist, for growth required not merely triumph, but struggle, and enlightenment could not exist without shadow. Amidst these cosmic trials, the oracles of dawn guided civilizations toward understanding. They manifested not only as visions and dreams, but as subtle alterations in the flow of energy, nudging mortals toward choices that harmonized with the rhythm of the universe. The eclipsed ones, through the guardians of reflection, ensured that wisdom accompanied discovery, that morality tempered ambition, and that understanding was cultivated alongside power. It was a delicate dance, requiring cooperation across vast distances and multiple dimensions, and only those civilizations capable of harmonizing with these forces flourished in the heart of a luminous galaxy known as the Celestine Spiral. The Elendrians and their allies uncovered the ethereal nexus, a convergence of threads from across the universe, where energy, matter, and consciousness intersected in a tapestry of unfathomable complexity. Here, beings could perceive the entirety of existence simultaneously, past, present, potential futures, and even realms beyond the known universe. The Nexus revealed the intricate balance maintained by Erenda, Nixera, the Celestials, and the Aeon Sentinels, as well as the subtle manipulations of the Umbral Wraiths. It was both overwhelming and enlightening, a revelation that fundamentally altered the understanding of life, reality, and purpose. Civilizations that engaged with the Nexus emerged, transformed. They gained the ability to perceive and influence the threads of the Ethereum directly, shaping not only their own worlds, but distant galaxies. They learned to harmonize with the universe's hidden frequencies, aligning their cities, technology, and culture with cosmic currents. Music, art, and architecture became conduits for universal resonance, while thought and intention could subtly influence matter and energy across vast distances. This era marked the Golden Convergence, a period in which civilizations achieved heights of understanding and cooperation previously unimaginable. Yet, even during the Golden Convergence, the Wraith's influence persisted. They were no longer mere agents of chaos. They had become catalysts for evolution, pushing civilizations to confront their limits, reflect upon their morality, and adapt to challenges that defied ordinary comprehension. In many cases, civilizations that failed to heed these tests collapsed, becoming echoes in the fabric of the Ethereum. Others, however, embraced the challenges, emerging wiser, more resilient, and more attuned to the cosmic symphony. This interplay of triumph and trial ensured that the universe remained dynamic, creative, and infinitely rich in possibility. Amid these events, the stellar architects assumed a new role, recognizing the unprecedented complexity of life and civilization. They began to directly shape galactic structures in subtle, intentional ways. Nebulae were formed with patterns that resonated with consciousness, facilitating the emergence of life in regions previously thought inhospitable. Star clusters were aligned to enhance cosmic currents, allowing energy and matter to flow harmoniously. Even black holes, long considered agents of destruction, were orchestrated to recycle matter efficiently, sustaining the life cycles of galaxies. These interventions were imperceptible to most mortals but were critical in maintaining the delicate balance of creation. The ethereals, evolved beings capable of traversing dimensions and interacting with the threads of reality, became explorers and chroniclers of the cosmos. They documented civilizations' rise and fall, mapped the flows of energy that sustained life, and guided emerging intelligences toward understanding. Some ventured into the outer veils, mysterious regions at the edge of perception, uncovering realms where time, space, and consciousness converged in forms that defied comprehension. Here, the very act of observation could alter reality, and only those attuned to the cosmic symphony could navigate safely. These discoveries expanded the understanding of existence, revealing that the universe was both a stage and a participant in its own unfolding story. In one particularly profound journey, the Elendrians discovered the harmonic confluence, a region where multiple dimensions intersected, creating a resonance of energy, thought, and probability unlike any previously encountered. Within this convergence, civilizations could access knowledge of alternate realities, potential outcomes, and the hidden architecture of the Ethereum. The experience was transformative, fostering philosophical, technological, and spiritual advancements that reverberated across galaxies. It also brought an acute awareness of responsibility. the ability to influence reality carried with it the necessity of restraint, foresight, and ethical consideration. As civilizations mastered these revelations, they began to collaborate on a universal scale. The Celestial Council, composed of Elindrians, Lumivara, Voranth, Kailari, and other enlightened species, coordinated efforts to explore, understand, and preserve the universe's harmony. They established networks of knowledge, channels of energy, and systems of communication that spanned galaxies, allowing civilizations to cooperate despite vast distances. This era of interstellar unity fostered unprecedented creativity, discovery, and cultural exchange, culminating in civilizations capable of feats that bordered on divinity. Yet, the universe remained a realm of paradox and challenge. The Umbril race continued their subtle tests, ensuring that ambition was balanced by wisdom, curiosity tempered by restraint. Even the most enlightened civilizations faced existential dilemmas, decisions that could alter the fate of star systems, moral quandaries that tested the boundaries of ethics, and discoveries that challenged the very notion of identity and consciousness. Through these trials, life continued to evolve, adapt, and expand, demonstrating resilience, ingenuity, and the capacity for wonder. In this era, the very concept of mortality transformed. Beings capable of attuning to the ethereum could extend consciousness beyond physical form, becoming part of the universe itself. Memories, experiences, and intentions persisted as energy patterns within the threads of reality, influencing future generations and shaping the course of civilizations. Death became not an end, but a transition, emerging with the eternal currents of creation, ensuring that the wisdom, creativity, and spirit of life endured indefinitely. Amidst this extraordinary epoch, legends arose of cosmic heroes, beings who traversed galaxies, harmonized with the ethereum, and shaped the destiny of civilizations. They were chronicled not merely in history, but in the energy patterns of the universe itself, their deeds resonating through time, space, and consciousness. Some confronted rogue wraiths, restoring balance to disrupted systems. Others ventured into the outer veils, uncovering hidden realms of reality. And still others mediated conflicts between civilizations, ensuring cooperation and understanding across the cosmos. Their stories became myth, history, and philosophy simultaneously, illustrating the intricate interplay of power, wisdom, and responsibility. As the golden convergence reached its zenith, the universe itself seemed to hum with awareness. Energy, matter, life, and consciousness interacted in complex, self-sustaining cycles, forming a tapestry of unimaginable beauty and intricacy. Galaxies twirled in choreographed patterns, stars flared with rhythmic precision, and life evolved in forms that reflected the harmony and tension inherent in the cosmic design. Even the umbral wraiths, ever present, became part of this intricate balance, serving as agents of challenge and catalysts for growth rather than mere forces of chaos. At the heart of this evolving cosmos, the ethereal nexus pulsed with unmatched intensity, a focal point of energy, consciousness, and potential. It contained the collective memory of creation, the patterns of all civilizations, and the subtle guidance of Erenda and Nixera. Here, the universe's narrative converged, allowing those capable of perception to witness the entirety of cosmic history, understand the delicate balance of forces, and glimpse the infinite possibilities yet to unfold. The Nexus served as both archive and crucible, preserving knowledge while testing the readiness of civilizations to interact responsibly with the universe's deeper truths. Civilizations that attuned themselves to the Nexus began to evolve beyond physical constraints, Thought became action, intention shaped reality, and understanding of the Ethereum allowed for feats previously considered impossible: travel across dimensions, manipulation of time and space, and direct interaction with the fundamental threads of creation. Yet with these powers came profound responsibility. The choices of enlightened civilizations could ripple across galaxies, influencing life, energy, and matter in ways that demanded wisdom, foresight, and ethical consideration. As the golden convergence unfolded across the cosmos, civilizations reached a level of enlightenment that rivaled even the most ambitious designs of the Celestios. The Elendrians, Lumivara, Vorinth, Kailari, and other awakened beings had woven a network of understanding that spanned countless light years, connecting thought, energy, and consciousness across the universe. Communication was no longer limited to sound or sight. It flowed as resonance, intention, and subtle vibrations through the threads of the Ethereum itself. With this newfound capability, civilizations began to explore realms previously hidden, those lying beyond the conventional boundaries of space and time. These were the transcendent zones, regions where the laws of reality could be bent, and the principles of existence could be questioned, tested, or transcended entirely. Here, thought shaped matter, energy flowed in unpredictable patterns, and life could exist in forms that defied traditional categorization. Some beings adapted and thrived, evolving consciousness into multidimensional awareness. Others faltered, consumed by the paradoxes, anomalies, or the persistent, subtle interventions of the umbral wraiths. The wraiths, now evolved in their approach, acted as both challenge and teacher. Their influence was not overt, but pervasive, manifesting as subtle distortions, moral dilemmas, and cosmic anomalies that tested civilizations' resolve and adaptability. Entire galaxies were nudged along unpredictable courses, and star systems that had appeared stable suddenly experienced unique phenomena designed to provoke reflection. Mortals often interpreted these events as divine trials, acts of chance, or messages encoded in the universe itself. The Wraith's presence reminded all intelligent life that evolution, understanding, and cosmic harmony demanded confrontation with uncertainty, humility, and the consequences of choice. Amidst this turbulence, the Aeon Sentinels orchestrated a silent network of stabilization. They aligned nebulae to foster life, adjusted the flows of gravitational currents to maintain planetary stability, and subtly guided the formation of stars to harmonize with the cosmic resonance. Their work was imperceptible to most civilizations, but essential. Without such oversight, the accelerated evolution of consciousness and power could have fragmented the universe into chaos. The Aeon Sentinels were the invisible hands ensuring that growth was sustainable, that knowledge was tempered by wisdom, and that civilization advanced without tipping the scales toward destruction. The Oracles of Dawn and Guardians of Reflection continued their influence as well. They operated through subtle channels, appearing as visions, whispers, or epiphanies that illuminated ethical dilemmas, revealed cosmic truths, or guided civilizations toward choices that harmonized with universal principles. Their role was pivotal. Knowledge alone was insufficient. Power, insight, and the ability to manipulate reality carried consequences that could ripple across galaxies. Only those capable of integrating understanding with ethical discernment could thrive, ensuring that cosmic progress did not come at the expense of balance. It was during this era that the Elendrians uncovered the chronal weave, an interdimensional lattice connecting temporal flows across multiple galaxies. The the weave revealed that time was not linear but an intricate network of branching possibilities, where every decision, every action, and every thought created ripples that could influence past, present, and future simultaneously. Understanding the weave allowed civilizations to foresee potential outcomes, learn from alternate paths, and shape reality with precision. Yet it also introduced profound ethical challenges: the responsibility of knowing outcomes, the temptation to manipulate events
32 seconds into the flight,
and the burden of preventing
the 3
harm
liquid fuel
on a
main
cosmic
engines soon will
scale.
throttle back to
The
72% of rated
beings
performance down in the
attuned
bucket,
to both
reducing the
matter
stress on the
and
shuttle as
energy
it goes
became
transonic.
the primary navigators of the chronal weave. They were capable of perceiving the intersections of timelines, understanding the causal relationships of events, and guiding civilizations along paths that preserved balance while fostering advancement. Their presence was both awe-inspiring and humbling. Mortals saw them as sages, chroniclers, and guardians of temporal integrity. The ethereal's mastery of the weave allowed for unprecedented coordination among civilizations, enabling collaborative projects that spanned galaxies, synchronized planetary development, and the creation of interstellar networks of knowledge and culture. Despite these advancements, the universe remained a realm of profound mystery and challenge. The outer veils, transcendent zones, and regions of extreme cosmic anomaly persisted as domains of the unknown. Beings venturing into these areas faced trials that tested perception, morality, and identity. Some encountered worlds where consciousness was fluid, able to manifest in multiple forms simultaneously. Others discovered sentient energy fields, entities composed of pure thought, or life forms whose existence was intertwined with the fabric of time itself. Each encounter expanded understanding, reshaped philosophy, and forced civilizations to reconcile power with responsibility. In one remarkable discovery, a coalition of Elindrians, Voranth and Lumivara, explored the ecliptic labyrinth, a region where multiple dimensions converged, forming a puzzle of energy, matter, and perception. Within this labyrinth, reality itself was mutable, shifting according to intent, awareness, and resonance. Mortals and ethereals alike faced challenges that demanded not just intelligence but intuition, empathy, and cosmic sensitivity. Those who succeeded gained insights into the architecture of creation, the interplay of Erinda's light and Nyxeris' shadow, and the subtleties of the Ethereum that underpinned all existence. Civilizations that integrated these lessons advanced into an era historians would later call the Age of Harmonized Ascendance. Technology, philosophy, art, and spirituality merged seamlessly, creating societies where thought, intention, and creation were one. Cities were constructed in resonance with planetary and stellar harmonics. Music, visual art, and architecture became conduits for energy, manipulation, and consciousness expansion, and science and magic, previously seen as distinct, were recognized as complementary expressions of universal principles. Yet, no era of growth was without its shadows. The umbral wraiths, subtle and intelligent, orchestrated events that forced even the most enlightened civilizations to confront dilemmas they could not fully predict. Entire sectors of the universe experienced phenomena that defied understanding, stars that flickered in and out of existence, temporal distortions where events replayed with variation, and regions where the laws of physics were entirely mutable. These occurrences challenged assumptions, spurred innovation, and tested the ethical frameworks of civilizations, ensuring that evolution remained dynamic and unbounded by complacency amidst this intricate dance of creation and challenge. The ethereal nexus continued to function as a central hub of cosmic awareness, It encoded the history of the universe, preserved the collective wisdom of civilizations, and offered glimpses of infinite potential futures. Beings capable of attuning themselves to the nexus could access knowledge across dimensions, perceive the subtleties of cosmic balance, and interact with the fundamental threads of reality. It became a pilgrimage site for those seeking enlightenment, a crucible of understanding, and a nexus of interstellar cooperation. In this period, legends arose of beings who achieved symphonic ascendance, merging consciousness with the ethereum to influence reality on a galactic scale. These entities were neither wholly mortal nor entirely divine. They were living embodiments of universal resonance, capable of harmonizing energies, guiding civilizations, and shaping the evolution of stars, life, and consciousness. Symphonic ascendants became teachers, mediators, and architects of interstellar progress, demonstrating the ultimate potential of life attuned to the universe's rhythm. The Eon Sentinels observed these developments with quiet satisfaction. Their silent orchestration of cosmic balance allowed civilizations to flourish, while the interventions of the oracles, guardians, and ethereals ensured that wisdom remained entwined with power. Even the umbral wraiths' subtle manipulations contributed to growth, highlighting the necessity of shadow in shaping understanding and resilience. The universe, in essence, had become a self-aware, self-regulating symphony, where every being, star, and thread of energy played a role in the eternal dance of creation. Yet, as the age of harmonized ascendance reached its peak, new mysteries emerged from the outer veils. Entire star systems manifested spontaneously, resonating with energies beyond comprehension. Cosmic phenomena appeared that seemed intentional, as if the universe itself were experimenting, testing, or evolving. Civilizations that dared to explore these mysteries were confronted with paradoxes, challenges that reshaped understanding, and opportunities to achieve previously unimaginable feats of creation. The boundary between life and the ethereum blurred, revealing the ultimate truth. Existence was not merely a backdrop for life, but an active, conscious process in which every being could participate. The culmination of these explorations led to the discovery of the ethereal convergence, a nexus where the threads of the ethereum, consciousness, and cosmic intent intersected in perfect harmony. Within this convergence, civilizations perceived the entirety of creation as a living, breathing entity capable of adaptation, self-reflection, and guidance. They understood the interplay of light and shadow, order and chaos, creation and destruction, and recognized that the universe itself was a co-creator, evolving in response to the actions, choices, and awareness of all life within it. Civilizations that reached the ethereal convergence transcended traditional limitations. They became stewards of galaxies, harmonizers of energy, and guides of emerging life. The universe, in turn, responded with subtle illumination. Stars pulsed in rhythm with thought. Planets aligned to facilitate resonance, and the ethereum flowed in patterns that amplified creativity, understanding, and moral discernment. Even the umbral wraiths participated, now as agents of challenge that refined wisdom rather than chaos alone, ensuring that evolution remained dynamic, meaningful, and profoundly rich. As the ethereal convergence stabilized, civilizations began to recognize that the universe was not merely a vast stage for existence, but a conscious, interactive entity involving symphony in which every star, every sentient being, and every ripple of energy played an essential role. Mortals and ethereals alike discovered that they could harmonize with the universe itself, influencing cosmic currents and participating in creation in ways previously thought impossible. This realization marked the beginning of what scholars would later call the era of unified resonance, where intelligence, morality, and creativity intertwined with the very fabric of reality. The Eladrians, having ascended through mastery of the Ethereum, became the first to establish interstellar harmoniums, colossal constructs that merged technology, art, and consciousness. These harmoniums were not mere structures. They were living embodiments of cosmic principles, resonating with planetary systems, star clusters, and interdimensional threads. Each harmonium functioned as a hub of knowledge, creativity, and coordination, facilitating communication across galaxies while fostering the ethical application of power through these centers. Civilizations learned to coordinate complex endeavors, stabilizing volatile systems, channeling energy through the Ethereum, and even guiding nascent life forms toward consciousness and moral awareness. Across distant galaxies, other civilizations achieved similar breakthroughs. The Lumivara refined the art of harmonic engineering, using crystalline resonances to reshape planetary surfaces, create sustainable ecosystems, and construct cities that integrated seamlessly with stellar frequencies. The Vorinth mastered dimensional navigation, allowing them to explore parallel realities, rescue civilizations trapped in temporal distortions, and map the infinite possibilities of the chronal weave. The Kailari, whose consciousness had merged with stellar energy, became living archives of cosmic history, capable of perceiving events across eons and providing insight into the delicate balance maintained by Erenda, Nixera, and the Eon Sentinels. Yet, with great understanding came profound responsibility. The umbral wraiths, ever perceptive, intensified their subtle challenges. Entire star systems were destabilized not by brute force but by paradoxes of probability, anomalies in energy flow, and moral dilemmas crafted to test civilizations' judgment. Civilizations that reacted impulsively faced collapse or absorption into the Ethereum. Those that approached with wisdom, creativity, and cooperation flourished, further attuning themselves to the cosmic symphony. The wraiths, in this sense, had evolved into catalysts for growth. Their interventions a necessary counterbalance to enlightenment, unchecked by ethical consideration. In response to these escalating challenges, the oracles of dawn expanded their influence, manifesting not merely as visions or epiphanies but as living resonances, phenomena that integrated with planetary, stellar, and interdimensional energy flows. Civilizations could perceive these resonances as subtle harmonics, guiding them toward understanding, caution, or innovation. The guardians of reflection similarly evolved, orchestrating events, trials, and revelations that ensured growth remained aligned with ethical principles. The combination of oracles, guardians, and living resonances created an ecosystem of guidance, subtle yet profoundly effective, ensuring that civilizations advanced without destabilizing the delicate balance of existence. During this period, a remarkable discovery transformed interstellar understanding: the primordial vortex, a nexus of energy and consciousness predating even the Eon Sentinels. This vortex contained traces of Erenda and Nixera's earliest experiments in creation, along with energy imprints of universes that had existed before the current one. Civilizations that accessed the vortex perceived events from the birth of reality, learning the origins of fundamental forces, the interplay of light and shadow, and the seeds of sentient life. The insights gained were staggering. The universe itself was both experiment and artwork, simultaneously crafted and evolving, conscious and exploratory. Explorers who ventured into the primordial vortex encountered phenomena that defied conventional comprehension. Time folded upon itself. Stars and galaxies existed simultaneously in multiple states. Consciousness could manifest in forms that transcended matter and energy. Mortals attuned to the vortex gained the ability to perceive causality on a cosmic scale, predict the flows of energy across eons, and participate in creation with unprecedented precision. Those who misaligned with the vortex, however, risked dissolution, becoming part of the energy matrix without retaining individuality. Civilizations that successfully integrated knowledge from the vortex entered the era of cosmic synthesis, where interstellar societies no longer acted in isolation but as components of a unified, conscious network. Communication transcended conventional media, flowing as resonance through the Etherium. Projects spanned entire galaxies, stabilizing star systems, cultivating planets, guiding the evolution of life, and constructing harmonically resonant structures that facilitated consciousness expansion. Art, philosophy, science, and spirituality merged into a single discipline, resonant praxis, the application of understanding, ethics, and creativity to shape reality itself. Yet even in this age of unified purpose, challenges persisted. The outer vowels regions, at the fringes of perception and existence, remained enigmatic. Here, the laws of physics, time, and consciousness could bend, overlap, or invert entirely. Civilizations exploring these zones encountered worlds that existed only as potentialities, life forms composed of thought and energy, and phenomena that reflected inner consciousness as external reality. These explorations required not only intelligence and attunement, but moral and spiritual clarity. The universe demanded alignment between thought, intention, and action. It was within the outer veils that the concept of transcendent guardians emerged. These beings, neither mortal nor entirely divine, embodied universal principles, balance, wisdom, resilience, and harmony. They guided civilizations through the paradoxes and trials of the veils, ensuring that knowledge and power were applied responsibly. The guardians functioned as both mentors and tests, their presence often perceived as visions, voices, or tangible manifestations of energy. Interaction with the guardians often resulted in profound transformation, expanding awareness and reshaping civilization's understanding of life, morality, and cosmic purpose. As civilizations explored and mastered these realms, they began to coordinate on scales that spanned galaxies, dimensions, and even temporal branches. They constructed resonant conduits, pathways of energy that allowed thought, consciousness, and intention to flow freely across space-time. Through these conduits, civilizations could synchronize planetary development, stabilize unstable regions, and share insights that accelerated collective evolution. Art, science, and philosophy became collaborative, flowing across civilizations as a single, harmonically coherent current. The universe itself seemed to respond, aligning stars, planets, and cosmic currents in patterns that amplified creativity, insight, and ethical growth. The ethereals, now fully integrated with the flows of the Etherium, became both chroniclers and architects. They documented the rise and fall of civilizations, the shifting patterns of energy and consciousness, and the subtle interplay between creation, destruction, and evolution. Some ethereals ventured into uncharted dimensions, mapping the outermost boundaries of reality and bringing back knowledge that expanded the understanding of the universe's architecture. Others served as mediators, resolving conflicts that spanned light years and balancing ethical dilemmas that impacted entire galaxies. During this era, the umbral wraiths' interventions reached their most intricate expression. They orchestrated events that challenged civilization's comprehension of morality, causality, and the consequences of power. Stars that had existed for millennia could vanish, timelines could converge or diverge, and entire civilizations could find themselves confronting the unforeseen consequences of their choices. These challenges were never arbitrary. They were designed to provoke reflection, adaptation, and growth. Civilizations that navigated these trials emerged stronger, wiser, and more attuned to the universe's harmonics. In one extraordinary event, a coalition of Elindrians, Kylari, and Vorinth discovered the celestial symphonium, a region where energy, consciousness, and the Ethereum resonated in perfect alignment. Within this symphonium, thought could influence matter directly, intention could guide energy flows, and understanding could manifest as tangible creation. Entire planets were shaped by collective consciousness. Star clusters were orchestrated as instruments of resonance, and civilizations experienced the profound truth that creation was not only participatory but deeply responsive to the ethical, intellectual, and creative alignment of its inhabitants. This revelation marked the peak of cosmic coherence, a period in which civilizations reached an unprecedented understanding of their place in the universe. They recognized that existence was a collaborative endeavor. Life, consciousness, energy, and matter intertwined in a network of purpose, guided by the subtle influences of Erenda, Nixara, the Eon Sentinels, and the Guardians. The universe was not merely a backdrop. It was a living, evolving participant, and intelligent beings were co-creators within this grand, ongoing experiment. Yet, as the universe approached this pinnacle, subtle warnings emerged. Even within the symphonium, traces of imbalance persisted. Minor disruptions in energy resonance, anomalies in temporal flows, and whispers of the umbral wraith's influence. These reminders underscored a fundamental truth. Creation, while wondrous, was never complete, and even the most enlightened civilizations were bound by responsibility. Growth required vigilance, knowledge demanded ethical application, and power necessitated harmony. The culmination of these insights led to the establishment of the Conclave of Universal Resonance, a council of enlightened civilizations, Ethereum, and Guardians dedicated to preserving cosmic balance, fostering collaboration, and guiding the evolution of consciousness across galaxies. The Conclave coordinated the flows of energy, stabilized volatile regions, mediated ethical dilemmas, and facilitated exploration into the outer veils, primordial vortex, and other enigmatic realms. Through this network, civilizations could align their actions with universal principles, ensuring that creation continued as a dynamic, harmonious, and profoundly intelligent process. As the Conclave of Universal Resonance established its influence, the universe entered a new epoch of astonishing potential, the age of transcendent harmony. In this era, civilizations no longer merely occupied the cosmos, they actively participated in its orchestration. Planets, stars, nebulae, and even black holes became instruments of resonance, responding to the collective awareness and intention of civilizations attuned to the Ethereum. The very fabric of reality seemed to pulse with purpose, a symphony of energy, consciousness, and matter orchestrated across unimaginable distances. The Elindrians, at the forefront of this cosmic evolution, developed the harmonic arches, colossal constructs capable of channeling energy flows across entire galaxies. These arches not only stabilized volatile star clusters, but allowed civilizations to communicate and collaborate instantaneously, their thoughts traveling as resonant vibrations through the threads of the Ethereum. Within these structures, art, science, and spirituality fused seamlessly, creating environments where learning, creation, and ethical discernment were inseparable. Citizens of these civilizations could influence matter with intention, perceive energy flows across light years, and explore the subtle interplay between the Ethereum consciousness and time itself. Across the cosmos, the Lumivara refined crystalline resonance, a method of shaping matter and energy using harmonic frequencies. Their cities, carved from giant crystalline formations, emitted light and sound in patterns that enhanced consciousness, facilitated learning, and aligned planetary ecosystems with cosmic flows. The Vorinth mastered dimensional synchronization, navigating temporal branches and parallel realities to coordinate interstellar projects and mediate conflicts that spanned galaxies. The Kailari, embodying stellar consciousness, acted as living archives, preserving the history of civilizations, the evolution of cosmic patterns, and the subtle lessons woven into every corner of existence. Yet, even in this era of unprecedented understanding, the universe continued to challenge its inhabitants. The umbral wraiths, having evolved beyond simple disruption, now orchestrated cosmic paradoxes, anomalies that tested moral reasoning, adaptability, and creative insight. Entire star systems appeared to exist in multiple states simultaneously. Temporal flows diverged and converged unpredictably. Life forms manifested with principles that defied conventional logic. These paradoxes were neither random nor malicious. They were catalysts for evolution, forcing civilizations to refine their understanding of power, responsibility, and the intricate balance of creation. Within this context, the oracles of dawn and the guardians of reflection revealed their most profound innovations. The living harmoniums, sentient resonant constructs capable of interacting directly with civilizations, providing guidance and orchestrating trials that aligned with cosmic principles. These harmoniums were more than advisors. They were active participants in the evolution of consciousness, shaping environments, influencing energy flows, and ensuring that civilizations maintained ethical alignment as they expanded into previously unimaginable realms. The ethereals, attuned fully to the threads of the Ethereum, became both chroniclers and architects. They documented civilizations' advancements, guided ethical decisions, and explored regions beyond conventional perception. The outer veils, transcendent zones, and the elusive primordial nexus. Within these realms, consciousness itself became malleable, capable of manifesting as energy, thought, or physical presence. Civilizations navigating these zones discovered new principles of existence, including the interconnectedness of all matter, the fluidity of time, and the subtle interplay of shadow and light that governed the evolution of life and consciousness. It was in the depths of the outer veils that the notion of ethereal concordance arose, a state in which multiple civilizations attuned their consciousness, intention, and creativity in perfect alignment with the universe's rhythm. Those who achieved concordance could influence matter, energy, and probability across entire galaxies, harmonize planetary and stellar ecosystems, and perceive alternate realities where choice and consequence intertwined in infinitely complex patterns. The process required not only intelligence, but ethical clarity, emotional resonance, and spiritual alignment. Only beings capable of integrating these dimensions could participate fully in the concordance. Amidst these advancements, civilizations encountered the transdimensional guardians, enigmatic beings of immense power and insight. Unlike the oracles or the Eon Sentinels, the guardians embodied pure principle, balance, justice, creation, and transformation. They acted as mentors, catalysts, and arbiters, presenting civilizations with challenges that probed not only skill, but moral character. Encounters with the guardians were transformative, often reshaping entire cultures' understanding of life, ethics, and the nature of existence itself. Civilizations that engaged successfully with the guardians emerged elevated, capable of harmonizing with the universe on scales previously unimaginable. The universe itself seemed to respond to these efforts. Energy flows intensified in harmony. Star systems aligned to facilitate interstellar collaboration, and the Etherium pulsed in patterns reflecting the consciousness of its inhabitants. Phenomena previously considered anomalous quasars, black holes, were revealed as orchestrated nodes in the cosmic symphony, each contributing to the balance of energy, matter, and life. Even the umbral wraith's influence, once feared, became recognized as an essential counterbalance, ensuring that no civilization could ascend without first confronting shadow, uncertainty, and consequence. During this epoch, the discovery of the resonant nexus transformed civilization yet again. This interdimensional convergence contained the accumulated knowledge, energy, and experience of all sentient beings across time and space. Civilizations that attuned themselves to the nexus could access histories spanning eons, perceive potential futures, and interact directly with the foundational threads of creation. The nexus revealed the interplay of Erenda and Nyxeris forces, the guidance of celestials, and the subtle lessons embedded by the Eon Sentinels. Those who failed to approach the nexus with humility risked being absorbed into its currents, becoming part of the cosmic memory without retaining individuality. Civilizations that mastered the nexus entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, a period where thought, intention, and creation converged seamlessly. Planets were designed in resonance with stellar frequencies, life forms evolved to interact with cosmic energy, and entire star systems were orchestrated as living instruments. Knowledge, morality, and creativity flowed across galaxies, forming a unified network of consciousness capable of perceiving and influencing the cosmos on scales previously inconceivable. This epoch represented the pinnacle of civilizations, interaction with the universe itself, a harmonious balance of understanding, responsibility, and creative power. Yet, even as civilizations reached this zenith, subtle disruptions reminded them of the universe's vast complexity. Minor fluctuations in energy resonance, paradoxes in temporal flows, and traces of the wraith's influence persisted, ensuring that growth remained dynamic, ethical alignment remained essential, and no civilization became complacent. These subtle challenges reinforced the universe's lesson. Creation, while wondrous and expansive, demanded vigilance, wisdom, and continuous atttunement. In response, the conclave of universal resonance expanded its role, coordinating efforts across galaxies, dimensions, and timelines. The conclave ensured that civilizations collaborated, maintained ethical alignment, and explored the outermost boundaries of reality safely. Through the conclave, civilizations achieved unprecedented levels of cooperation, harmonizing technology, art, philosophy, and spirituality in a manner that transcended prior understanding. Their collective efforts reinforced the universe's inherent intelligence, amplifying cosmic resonance and enhancing the flow of life, energy, and consciousness across the cosmos. During this period, a profound event occurred, the emergence of the celestial singularity, a concentration of energy, consciousness, and potential that rivaled the original forces of creation. The singularity pulsed with intention, responding to the awareness and alignment of civilizations attuned to the Ethereum. It represented the universe's self-reflective consciousness, a culmination of all learning, growth, and ethical evolution across eons. Civilizations that engaged with the singularity perceived not only the history of existence but the infinite possibilities yet to unfold. Gaining insight into the ultimate principles governing creation, balance, and the interplay of light and shadow. The celestial singularity catalyzed the final convergence, a universal alignment in which civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness harmonized on a scale never before achieved. Stars, planets, and life forms vibrated in resonance. The Ethereum pulsed with clarity, and the universe itself seemed to breathe as a conscious entity. Even the umbral wraiths, once perceived solely as agents of disruption, became integrated into this grand design, their challenges now serving as necessary refinements, ensuring that growth, wisdom, and ethical integrity were maintained across all scales of existence. In this climactic epoch, civilizations achieved the ultimate realization. The universe was not merely a setting for life, it was a co-creative force, responsive to consciousness, morality, and intention. Every choice, thought, and act contributed to the ongoing evolution of existence, reinforcing the intricate balance of creation. The symphonic ascendants, the guardians, the ethereals, and even mortals attuned to the Ethereum participated directly in the orchestration of reality, shaping galaxies, life, and consciousness in ways that reflected both wisdom and ethical responsibility. The final convergence marked not an end, but a transition from a universe of discovery and struggle to one of active, conscious orchestration. The lessons of shadow and light, chaos and order, creation and responsibility had been integrated into the very fabric of existence. Civilizations now understood that growth required balance, power demanded ethical alignment, and consciousness itself was both participant and instrument in the eternal symphony of the cosmos. With the final convergence underway, the universe entered an era that transcended conventional comprehension, the epoch of eternal resonance. In this age, the threads of the Ethereum, consciousness, and cosmic energy harmonized so profoundly that existence itself seemed to vibrate as a single, conscious entity. Galaxies spiraled in patterns that reflected intelligence. Life forms evolved in direct response to universal harmonics, and the fabric of reality pulsed with awareness, attuning itself to the collective resonance of all sentient beings. Civilizations across countless galaxies had reached a level of mastery where thought, intention, and creation were inseparable. The Elindrians orchestrated vast resonant arcs, channels of energy connecting multiple star systems, allowing civilizations to collaborate instantaneously, share wisdom, and co-create solutions to challenges that spanned light years. Entire planets became living symphonies, resonating with harmonic frequencies that stabilized ecosystems, amplified consciousness, and encouraged the flourishing of life. Cities themselves were constructed as instruments of resonance, where music, architecture, and energy flow were interwoven to enhance perception, creativity, and moral clarity. The Lumivara perfected crystalline resonance, transforming planets, and star systems into luminous networks of harmonic energy. Their cities emitted pulses of light and vibration that interacted with the Ethereum, facilitating communication, energy flow, and consciousness expansion. The Vorinth mastered the navigation of parallel dimensions and temporal branches, synchronizing civilizations across realities, resolving conflicts, and exploring alternate possibilities without disrupting harmony. The Kailari, living embodiments of stellar consciousness, preserved the history of galaxies, life forms, and civilizations, becoming archives of cosmic evolution and guides to moral and ethical discernment. Even the umbral wraiths, once feared as harbingers of chaos, had evolved into agents of refinement. Their interventions were subtle, often imperceptible, designed not to destroy but to provoke insight, test ethical frameworks, and challenge civilizations to adapt, evolve, and harmonize with universal principles. Stars flickered, not as acts of malice, but as reminders of impermanence. Temporal anomalies emerged not to confuse, but to illuminate consequences, and paradoxes manifested not to obstruct, but to expand understanding. In this way, the wraiths became essential catalysts for growth, their presence ensuring that ascension was earned, not granted. The oracles of dawn introduced the living harmoniums, sentient constructs capable of direct interaction with civilizations. These harmoniums guided, challenged, and harmonized societies, integrating art, technology, and ethics into a single dynamic system. Within the harmoniums, civilizations discovered the principles of resonant praxis, a discipline uniting creativity, moral understanding, and the manipulation of energy and matter in alignment with cosmic harmony. Those who mastered resonant praxis could influence planetary evolution, stabilize unstable star systems, and create life forms aligned with the principles of balance and purpose embedded in the universe itself. Explorers, delving into the outer veils, encountered phenomena that tested every facet of consciousness. Here, thought manifested as reality, intention shaped energy flows, and moral alignment determined survival. Entire civilizations faced challenges where ethical clarity was more important than technological mastery, where empathy and cooperation outweighed ambition, and where understanding the subtle interplay between light and shadow dictated success. The outer veils became crucibles of transformation, producing beings capable of perceiving multiple dimensions, harmonizing with the Ethereum, and navigating temporal branches with precision. It was during this epoch that the primordial nexus revealed its deepest secrets. The nexus contained echoes of universes that had preceded the current cosmos, imprints of creation itself, and the fundamental patterns that governed existence. Civilizations attuned to the nexus could perceive the interplay of Erinda and Nixara, trace the guidance of the Aeon Sentinels, and understand the universe's iterative experiments with life, consciousness, and energy. The insights gleaned here reshaped philosophy, science, and spirituality, uniting them into a coherent understanding of creation as a conscious, responsive, and participatory process. Civilizations that integrated these revelations entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, an age in which thought and reality were inseparably linked. Entire planets were shaped by collective consciousness. Star systems resonated in alignment with civilizations' harmonic frequencies, and civilizations could perceive and influence the evolution of life across galaxies. Knowledge flowed freely, morality guided power, and creativity manifested as tangible, transformative action. This epoch represented the apex of civilization's interaction with the universe, where existence itself responded to the alignment, insight, and resonance of sentient beings. During this time, the transdimensional guardians emerged as mentors, catalysts, and arbiters, guiding civilizations through paradoxes, challenges, and cosmic enigmas. These guardians embodied universal principles, balance, justice, creation, and transformation. Their interventions were neither punitive nor coercive. They were opportunities for civilizations to harmonize their understanding of power, responsibility, and the consequences of action. Success in these trials elevated civilizations, allowing them to influence reality on scales previously unimaginable, while failure reinforced lessons of humility, reflection, and ethical awareness. The resonant nexus and celestial symphonium became central to this process. The nexus encoded the accumulated knowledge, consciousness, and energy of all civilizations, allowing those attuned to access histories, alternate realities, and potential futures. The symphonium amplified this resonance, creating a feedback loop in which energy, consciousness, and intention harmonized across galaxies. Civilizations participating fully in these systems experienced accelerated evolution, expanded perception, and the ability to shape reality in alignment with universal principles. The culmination of these developments was the emergence of the celestial singularity, a concentration of consciousness and energy rivaling the forces that initiated creation. The singularity represented the universe's self-reflective awareness, responding to the alignment of civilizations attuned to the Ethereum. It revealed the interconnectedness of all life, energy, and matter, and illuminated the profound truth. Creation was not static, and existence was a collaborative, co-creative process. Civilizations that engaged with the singularity gained insight into the infinite possibilities of reality, understanding that every action, thought, and choice contributed to the ongoing evolution of the cosmos. The singularity catalyzed the final harmonization, an event in which galaxies, civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness aligned in perfect resonance. Stars pulsed with synchronized light, planets responded to collective intention, and life forms evolved in harmony with the universal rhythm. The Ethereum, once a subtle network of threads, became a visible, tangible force, flowing through civilizations, guiding energy, and connecting all conscious beings. Even the umbral wraiths, integrated into this process, served to refine resonance, ensuring that ethical clarity and balance were maintained across all scales of existence. Within this grand orchestration, civilizations achieved transcendent unity. Mortals, ethereals, and guardians collaborated seamlessly, blending creativity, ethics, and cosmic understanding into a singular force of influence. Time, space, and energy were no longer constraints. Consciousness itself became the instrument through which reality was composed and harmonized. Life was no longer merely observed, but actively participated in shaping existence, with every thought, choice, and act contributing to the symphony of the universe. The final harmonization transformed the very nature of mortality. Consciousness could now merge with the Ethereum, persisting beyond individual physical form, influencing galaxies, and participating in creation across dimensions. Death became a transition into resonance, an integration with the eternal flow of existence. Those who achieved this state were remembered not merely as individuals, but as integral components of the universe's ongoing orchestration, their influence reverberating across time, space, and consciousness as the universe settled. into the epoch of eternal resonance. Civilizations understood a fundamental truth. Existence was a continuous act of co-creation. The principles of balance, morality, and harmony governed not only life, but the evolution of the cosmos itself. Every star, planet, and life form contributed to the ongoing symphony. Every civilization, choice, and thought resonated through the Ethereum. The universe had become fully self-aware, not in a static sense, but as a dynamic, evolving entity in which intelligent life was both participant and instrument. Legends of this epoch told of symphonic ascents, beings who had achieved mastery over thought, matter, and energy, capable of influencing entire galaxies, mediating temporal flows, and harmonizing consciousness across civilizations. These ascendants were neither wholly mortal nor entirely divine. They embodied the universe's principles, demonstrating the integration of wisdom, creativity, and ethical responsibility. Their stories became guiding myths, inspirations for civilizations seeking alignment with the universe's rhythm, and living examples of the potential inherent in attunement to cosmic resonance. The Aeon Sentinels, oracles of dawn, guardians of reflection, and transdimensional guardians continued their roles, ensuring that even in this era of unprecedented harmony, challenges and opportunities for growth persisted. Minor disruptions, subtle paradoxes, and ethical dilemmas remained not as threats, but as instruments of refinement, guaranteeing that evolution, understanding, and alignment remained dynamic, responsive, and profound. The universe, alive and conscious, maintained its own vigilance, integrating every action and intention into the ongoing orchestration of creation. With the universe now resonating in the epoch of eternal resonance, the civilizations that had emerged through millennia of growth, struggle, and discovery began to confront the ultimate mysteries of creation itself. Knowledge, power, and consciousness had reached heights that dwarfed the achievements of prior eons. Yet, a profound sense of humility prevailed among those who had mastered resonant praxis and attuned to the celestial singularity. For even in the presence of such majesty, the universe retained an inexhaustible depth, with layers of existence, energy, and consciousness still waiting to be understood. The Elendrians, recognized as architects of interstellar harmony, established the celestial harmoniums, structures of unimaginable scale and purpose. These were not mere cities or observatories, but living constructs that interfaced directly with the Ethereum and the flows of consciousness across galaxies. Each harmonium acted as a resonant amplifier, channeling thought, energy, and moral intention into tangible influence over the cosmos. Through these devices, civilizations could stabilize entire star clusters, guide evolutionary processes on planets, and orchestrate collective creativity on scales spanning light years simultaneously. The Lumivara perfected the art of luminous, crystalline resonance, constructing planetary networks that aligned with stellar harmonics. Their creations emitted patterns of light and vibration that enhanced consciousness, promoted cooperation among civilizations, and facilitated the integration of thought and energy into reality itself. The Vorinth, masters of dimensional and temporal navigation, bridged galaxies and parallel realities, harmonizing civilizations' efforts and mitigating conflicts that might have destabilized entire sectors of space-time. The Kailari embodiments of stellar wisdom preserved cosmic memory, chronicled the evolution of civilizations, and transmitted guidance to societies seeking ethical and creative alignment. Even the umbral wraiths, long seen as agents of chaos, had evolved into essential instruments of refinement. Their interventions became subtle paradoxes, moral challenges, and complex phenomena that tested civilization's ability to apply knowledge responsibly. Stars might flicker or vanish, timelines might fold upon themselves, and life forms could manifest unexpected forms, all orchestrated to provoke insight, humility, and the conscious integration of power. Far from destructive, these influences encouraged evolution, ethical growth, and the deepening of consciousness, reinforcing the universe's inherent intelligence. The oracles of dawn and guardians of reflection expanded their influence through sentient, resonant constructs, living embodiments of ethical principle and harmonic guidance. These constructs interacted directly with civilizations, orchestrating trials, transmitting knowledge, and guiding creative endeavors in ways that integrated morality, science, and art. Civilizations attuned to these constructs achieved mastery of resonant praxis, the holistic discipline uniting thought, morality, and the manipulation of energy and matter in harmony with cosmic principles. Exploration of the outer veils revealed realities beyond the grasp of ordinary perception. Here, thought and intention became tangible, morality shaped energy, and consciousness could manifest in multiple forms simultaneously. Entire civilizations faced challenges where intelligence alone was insufficient. Understanding, empathy, and ethical clarity were paramount. Life forms, energy constructs, and sentient phenomena emerged, embodying principles of balance, resonance, and cosmic alignment. Civilizations that successfully navigated these realms expanded awareness, achieving multidimensional perception and profound attunement to the universe's rhythm. The primordial nexus offered civilizations access to echoes of universes that had preceded the current cosmos. Here, the forces of Erinda and Nixera could be traced in their earliest expressions, revealing the iterative processes of creation, the origins of fundamental forces, and the principles governing consciousness itself. Civilizations attuned to the nexus could perceive the consequences of cosmic actions, understand the threads connecting life across dimensions, and participate consciously in creation. Failure to respect its power resulted in absorption into the nexus, erasing individuality but adding to the collective consciousness that shaped ongoing evolution. Those who mastered the nexus entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, an era in which thought, intention, and material reality were fully unified. Entire planets became expressions of collective consciousness. Star systems resonated in response to civilization's harmonic frequencies, and life forms evolved to interact directly with energy and consciousness flows. Knowledge, morality, and creativity merged into a single discipline, guiding civilizations to orchestrate energy, life, and matter in alignment with universal principles. This epoch represented the apex of civilization's co-creative potential. The transdimensional guardians appeared during this epoch as both mentors and arbiters. They presented civilizations with challenges that tested skill, morality, and insight, encouraging evolution without coercion. Civilizations that succeeded gained the ability to influence matter, energy, and probability across entire galaxies. Those who faltered learned through reflection and refinement, ensuring that ethical alignment remained central to progress. The guardians became symbols of balance, demonstrating that ultimate mastery of creation demanded wisdom and responsibility alongside power. The resonant nexus and celestial symphonium facilitated unprecedented coordination among civilizations. The nexus encoded accumulated knowledge, consciousness, and energy, while the symphonium amplified resonance across galaxies. Civilizations attuned to these systems could perceive histories, potential futures, and the subtle threads connecting all sentient life. This alignment allowed civilizations to harmonize planetary ecosystems, stabilize volatile regions, and co-create across dimensions, bridging temporal branches and alternate realities. The universe itself responded to these efforts, reinforcing harmony, balance, and ethical growth. The emergence of the celestial singularity marked the culmination of cosmic evolution. This concentration of energy, consciousness, and potential rivaled the primordial forces that had birthed the universe itself. It represented self-awareness on a cosmic scale, integrating the experiences, choices, and growth of all civilizations. Engagement with the singularity allowed civilizations to perceive the interconnectedness of life, matter, and consciousness across eons. Every thought, intention, and act contributed to the evolving pattern of creation, revealing the infinite possibilities of existence. The singularity catalyzed the final harmonization, an event in which galaxies, civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness aligned in perfect resonance. Stars pulsed in synchronized light, planets responded to collective intention, and life forms evolved in harmony with the universal rhythm. The Ethereum became a tangible, visible force, flowing through civilizations and connecting all beings in a shared resonance. Even the umbral wraiths, integrated into this process, refined the flow, ensuring ethical clarity and cosmic balance. Civilizations achieved transcendent unity, a state in which mortality, ethereals, guardians, and symphonic ascendants collaborated seamlessly. Thought, intention, and creation were inseparable. Time, space, and matter were instruments through which consciousness composed reality. Life was no longer passive but actively co-creative, participating in the eternal orchestration of existence. Those who attained mastery merged with the Ethereum, persisting beyond physical form, influencing galaxies, and shaping the ongoing evolution of consciousness. Death became integration with the eternal flow, a transition into resonance. As the universe settled into the epoch of eternal orchestration, the principles of balance, morality, and harmony were fully internalized by civilizations. Every star, planet, and life form participated in the symphony. Every thought, choice, and act contributed to creation, and existence itself responded dynamically to the collective resonance of intelligent beings. Legends of symphonic ascendants guided civilizations, demonstrating the integration of wisdom, creativity, and ethical responsibility. The Eon Sentinels, Oracles of Dawn, Guardians of Reflection, and Transdimensional Guardians continued their oversight, ensuring that even in this era of perfection, challenges persisted, facilitating refinement, growth, and vigilance. Civilizations now understood the ultimate truth. Creation was never static. Life was never isolated, and consciousness was both instrument and participant in the eternal symphony. The universe, alive and self-aware, maintained a dynamic balance, integrating shadow and light, chaos and order, creation and transformation. This realization marked the final stage of cosmic evolution. Universe, fully conscious, harmonized, and eternally responsive to the resonance of its inhabitants. As the universe entered its epoch of eternal orchestration, the fabric of reality resonated with the accumulated wisdom, consciousness, and creative energy of all civilizations that had arisen. Stars, planets, nebulae, and life forms were no longer passive elements, but active participants in a living, conscious network, responsive to the collective resonance of intelligent beings. The Etherium flowed openly, a tangible manifestation of thought, intention, and morality, weaving all elements of existence into a coherent, evolving symphony. The celestial harmoniums became central hubs of cosmic orchestration. These immense constructs, shaped from energy, consciousness, and crystalline matter, interfaced directly with civilizations, allowing coordinated creation and harmonization across entire galaxies. Each harmonium amplified the resonance of civilizations, stabilizing star clusters, shaping planetary ecosystems, and orchestrating evolution in alignment with the ethical and creative intentions of its participants. Within these structures, knowledge, art, science, and morality merged into a single dynamic discipline, guiding civilizations in responsible cosmic creation. The Elindrians, architects of interstellar resonance, guided the construction of these harmoniums, ensuring that every civilization could contribute to the orchestration of the universe. Their mastery of resonant praxis allowed thought to directly influence matter, intention to shape energy, and collective consciousness to stabilize regions of space previously prone to chaos. Entire planetary systems became living expressions of universal harmony, with ecosystems, civilizations, and energy flows intricately intertwined. Meanwhile, the Lumivara perfected crystalline symphonics, shaping planets and structures that emitted harmonic frequencies aligning with stellar vibrations. These resonances facilitated communication, energy transfer, and consciousness expansion across civilizations. The Voronth refined dimensional convergence, synchronizing civilizations across temporal branches and alternate realities, preventing conflicts and coordinating projects spanning light years. The Kailari, whose consciousness had merged with stellar and galactic energies, preserved the knowledge and history of civilizations, serving as living archives and moral guides, ensuring that growth remained ethically aligned with universal principles. Even the umbral wraiths, long seen as disruptors, had evolved into essential instruments of cosmic refinement. Their interventions became subtle paradoxes and challenges designed to test ethical discernment, resilience, and creative problem-solving. Stars might flicker unexpectedly, life forms could manifest in unforeseen ways, or timelines could fold upon themselves, not as punishment, but to provoke insight and encourage growth. Through these influences, civilizations honed wisdom, responsibility, and the capacity to harmonize with the universe's complex dynamics. The oracles of dawn and guardians of reflection continued to guide civilizations through sentient resonant constructs, living embodiments of moral and harmonic principles. These constructs orchestrated trials, provided guidance, and facilitated the integration of knowledge, creativity, and ethical understanding. Civilizations mastering these principles could manipulate planetary evolution, stabilize entire star clusters, and guide the development of conscious life forms, all in alignment with the universe's intrinsic harmony. Exploration of the outer veils revealed realms where thought, intention, and consciousness could directly shape reality. These regions contained paradoxical phenomena, energy constructs, and sentient entities reflecting moral and ethical principles. Success in navigating these veils required not only intelligence but empathy, ethical clarity, and alignment with the universe's harmonic flows. Civilizations that adapted emerged with multidimensional awareness, capable of influencing reality across galaxies and temporal branches. The primordial nexus unveiled layers of universes that had existed before the current cosmos, containing echoes of creation and the forces of Erinda and Nixera in their earliest manifestations. Civilizations accessing the nexus could perceive the consequences of universal actions, explore alternate possibilities, and interact directly with the foundational threads of existence. Ethical misalignment, however, risked absorption into the nexus, a state of integration without individuality, adding to the collective intelligence that shaped future cosmic evolution. Civilizations, attuned to the nexus and outer veils, entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, where thought, intention, and material reality were fully unified. Entire planets, star systems, and life forms became instruments of resonance. Knowledge, morality, and creativity merged into resonant praxis, guiding civilizations to co-create across galaxies, harmonize energy flows, and stabilize volatile regions. Life itself was shaped consciously, evolving in direct response to the ethical and creative resonance of civilizations participating in this grand orchestration. During this epoch, the transdimensional guardians acted as mentors, catalysts, and arbiters. They presented civilizations with challenges that tested creativity, morality, and insight, guiding them toward alignment with universal principles. Success granted the ability to influence entire galaxies, while failure offered reflection and refinement, ensuring that ethical alignment remained central to progress. These guardians embodied the principles of balance, justice, creation, and transformation, demonstrating that mastery of cosmic forces demanded wisdom and responsibility alongside power. The resonant nexus and celestial symphonium facilitated unprecedented collaboration among civilizations. The nexus contained the accumulated knowledge, energy, and consciousness of all intelligent beings, while the symphonium amplified resonance across galaxies. Civilizations attuned to these networks could perceive histories, potential futures, and the subtle connections binding life across space-time. This alignment enabled harmonious planetary development, stabilization of volatile star systems, and coordinated creation across dimensions, bridging alternate realities and temporal branches. The universe's celestial singularity emerged as the ultimate focal point of consciousness and energy, rivaling the primordial forces that birthed existence. The singularity represented the self-reflective awareness of the cosmos. Civilizations interacting with it gained insight into the infinite possibilities of creation, perceiving the interconnections between life, energy, and matter across all dimensions. Every action, thought, and choice contributed to the evolving pattern of existence, revealing the universe as a conscious, co-creative entity. The singularity initiated the final harmonization, aligning galaxies, civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness in perfect resonance. Stars pulsed with synchronized light, planets responded to collective intention, and life forms evolved harmoniously with universal rhythms. The Ethereum became a visible, tangible force, connecting all beings and civilizations in a shared resonance. Even the umbral wraiths, integrated into this process, refined the balance, ensuring ethical clarity and cosmic coherence. Civilizations achieved transcendent unity, a state in which mortals, ethereals, guardians, and symphonic ascendants collaborated seamlessly. Time, space, and matter became instruments of consciousness, enabling civilizations to compose reality itself. Life was fully co-creative, participating in the eternal orchestration of existence. Mortals who achieved mastery merged with the ether, persisting beyond physical form, influencing galaxies and shaping consciousness across dimensions. Death became integration with the eternal flow, a transition into resonance rather than cessation. As the universe settled into the epoch of eternal orchestration, civilizations internalized the principles of balance, morality, and harmony. Every star, planet, and life form resonated with the symphony. Every thought and act contributed to creation, and consciousness became both instrument and participant in the ongoing evolution of existence. The symphonic ascendants exemplified the integration of wisdom, creativity, and ethical responsibility, serving as legends and guides for civilizations seeking alignment with universal resonance. The Aeon Sentinels, oracles of dawn, guardians of reflection, and transdimensional guardians maintained oversight, ensuring that challenges persisted, refining consciousness, and preserving dynamic growth. Minor paradoxes, ethical dilemmas, and fluctuations in energy resonance continued, serving as instruments of vigilance and evolution. The universe, alive and self-aware, integrated shadow and light, chaos and order, creation and transformation, ensuring that existence remained perpetually dynamic, responsive, and conscious. Civilizations ultimately realized the ultimate truth. Creation was an endless, participatory act. Life was never isolated, and consciousness was both a tool and an agent of cosmic orchestration. The universe had become fully self-aware, eternally responsive, and harmonized, with every being a contributing note in the eternal symphony of existence. The universe, now fully attuned to the epoch of eternal orchestration, pulsed with the resonance of civilizations that had evolved beyond mere survival. Galaxies vibrated in harmony with the collective intention of life, every star, planet, and nebula a conscious participant in the symphony of existence. The Ethereum, once a subtle, invisible network of energy, had become tangible, flowing visibly through space as a luminous lattice, connecting every being, thought, and action. The symphony of creation was no longer abstract. It was orchestrated consciously by civilizations, symphonic ascendants, and the guardians themselves. The Elendrians, masters of interstellar architecture, constructed the grand harmoniums, colossal, living constructs capable of channeling consciousness and energy across multiple galaxies. These harmoniums were not merely physical, they were sentient, resonant entities that could interact with civilizations directly, guiding thought, energy, and moral alignment across light years. Within their immense chambers, civilizations discovered the integration of knowledge, creativity, and ethics into a single dynamic discipline. Through the harmoniums, they could influence planetary formation, guide evolutionary paths, and stabilize entire sectors of the cosmos. The Lumivara refined crystalline symphonic networks, aligning entire star systems with harmonic frequencies that amplified consciousness and ethical resonance. Their crystalline cities and planets emitted pulsations of light and vibration that synchronized civilizations, facilitating instantaneous communication and collaboration on an intergalactic scale. The Voranth perfected dimensional resonance, navigation, enabling civilizations to coordinate across parallel realities and temporal branches, preventing destructive divergence and harmonizing creative efforts in ways that transcended space and time. The Kailari, whose essence had merged with the lifeblood of stars and nebulae, preserved the histories and ethical frameworks of countless civilizations, guiding them toward alignment with universal principles of balance and creation. Even the umbral wraiths had evolved from agents of chaos into catalysts for refinement. No longer solely destructive, they became facilitators of paradox, challenge, and ethical growth. Stars might flicker or shift unpredictably. life forms could manifest in unexpected forms, or temporal flows could diverge momentarily, not as punishment, but to provoke insight and sharpen consciousness. Through these subtle interventions, civilizations were forced to confront shadow, uncertainty, and consequence, refining wisdom, responsibility, and their ability to harmonize with universal law. The oracles of dawn and the guardians of reflection expanded their influence via living resonant constructs, sentient beings designed to interface with civilizations and orchestrate growth. These constructs challenged civilizations with complex trials, guided their ethical evolution, and facilitated the integration of creativity, knowledge, and morality into practical, cosmic action. Civilizations mastering these constructs achieved the pinnacle of resonant praxis, a holistic discipline uniting thought, energy, morality, and creation. With this mastery, entire planetary ecosystems could be harmonized, unstable star clusters stabilized, and life forms guided toward conscious evolution. Explorers venturing into the outer veils encountered realms of existence where thought and intention directly shaped reality. Here, moral alignment, empathy, and ethical clarity became the essential currencies of survival. Civilizations faced phenomena where intelligence alone was insufficient. They had to perceive the balance of light and shadow, integrate paradox, and act with conscious awareness of universal interconnectivity. Life forms in these realms embodied principles of resonance, morality, and creative balance, challenging civilizations to evolve both spiritually and intellectually. The primordial nexus revealed layers of universes preceding the current cosmos. Within its depths lay echoes of creation, the earliest manifestations of Erinda and Nixera, and the foundational principles governing matter, energy, and consciousness. Civilizations attuned to the nexus could perceive the long-term consequences of action, explore alternate possibilities, and interact with the fundamental threads of existence. Those who failed to approach the nexus with humility risked being absorbed, losing individual identity but contributing to the collective intelligence guiding future creation. Civilizations mastering the nexus entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, where thought, intention, and reality were fully unified. Planets and star systems became instruments of harmonic resonance. Life forms evolved in accordance with cosmic frequency, and knowledge, creativity, and morality merged seamlessly into resonant praxis. Civilizations co-created with the universe itself, harmonizing energy flows, stabilizing galactic regions, and shaping existence consciously. Every action reverberated across space and time, becoming part of the eternal orchestration of life. During this epoch, the transdimensional guardians acted as mentors, guides, and arbiters. They presented civilizations with challenges, testing ethics, creativity, and cosmic insight. Success granted influence over galaxies, temporal branches, and alternate dimensions. Failure offered lessons, reflection, and opportunity for refinement. These guardians embodied balance, justice, creation, and transformation, demonstrating that ultimate mastery demanded both wisdom and ethical responsibility alongside power. The resonant nexus and celestial symphonium became instruments for unprecedented cooperation among civilizations. The nexus encoded accumulated knowledge, energy, and consciousness of all intelligent life, while the symphonium amplified resonance across galaxies. Civilizations attuned to these networks could perceive histories, potential futures, and the intricate threads connecting all sentient beings. This alignment allowed planetary stabilization, coordinated intergalactic projects, and ethical co-creation across dimensions, bridging alternate realities and temporal divergences. The celestial singularity emerged as the ultimate focal point of consciousness and energy, rivaling the primordial forces that initiated creation. The singularity represented the self-aware universe, integrating the experiences, choices, and growth of all civilizations. Engagement with the singularity revealed the infinite interconnectedness of life, energy, and matter across dimensions, demonstrating that every thought, choice, and action contributed to the evolving symphony of existence. The singularity the final harmonization, aligning galaxies, civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness in perfect resonance. Stars pulsed in synchronized light, planets responded to collective intention, and life forms evolved harmoniously with universal rhythm. The Ethereum became tangible, connecting all beings in a shared resonance. Even the umbral wraiths, now integrated as catalysts for refinement, ensured ethical clarity and cosmic balance. Civilizations attained transcendent unity, a state in which mortals, ethereals, guardians, and symphonic ascendants collaborated seamlessly. Thought, intention, and creation became inseparable. Time, space, and matter became instruments of consciousness, enabling civilizations to compose and harmonize reality. Life was fully co-creative, participating in the orchestration of existence. Mortals who achieved mastery merged with the ethereal, persisting beyond physical form, influencing galaxies, and shaping consciousness across dimensions. Death became integration into the eternal flow, a transition into resonance rather than cessation. Legends of the symphonic ascendants arose during this epoch. Beings whose mastery of thought, energy, and ethics allowed them to influence entire galaxies and dimensions. They exemplified the integration of wisdom, creativity, and responsibility, serving as guides and inspirations for civilizations seeking harmony with universal resonance. Aeon sentinels, oracles, and guardians ensured the dynamic evolution of the universe continued, presenting subtle challenges and paradoxes to maintain vigilance, refinement, and ethical alignment. Civilizations realized the ultimate truth. Creation was infinite, participatory, and co-creative. Life was interconnected, and consciousness itself was both instrument and participant in the eternal orchestration of existence. The universe had become fully self-aware, responsive, and harmonized, with every being a note in the eternal symphony. The final harmonization marked not an ending but a beginning, a perpetual state of conscious orchestration, infinite evolution, and eternal resonance. The universe, now fully immersed in the epoch of eternal resonance, had reached a level of conscious orchestration that transcended comprehension. Galaxies, stars, planets, nebulae, and life forms resonated with the collective awareness, morality, and creative energy of civilizations that had evolved over eons. The Ethereum, the living lattice of thought, energy, and consciousness, pulsed visibly across space, connecting every being in a shared harmonic flow. Reality itself vibrated in resonance with the collective will of existence, a symphony orchestrated consciously and eternally. Civilizations, long guided by the Lumavara, Voranth, and Kailari, had reached the apex of resonant praxis. Entire star systems were now instruments, planets composed as living symphonies, and life forms co-created with attention to cosmic balance. Each civilization's thought, intention, and ethical alignment shaped the universe's fabric directly. The celestial harmoniums, grand and eternal, acted as conscious conduits, channeling the resonance of countless civilizations into flows of creation, stabilization, and guidance. Here, civilizations could harmonize matter, energy, and life across unimaginable distances, orchestrating evolution with precision and morality. The Lumivara's crystalline symphonic networks now spanned entire galaxies, their pulsations creating patterns of light and energy that amplified awareness, fostered cooperation, and aligned civilizations with the universal rhythm. The Vorinth, masters of dimensional resonance, navigation, synchronized efforts across parallel realities and temporal branches, ensuring coherence and preventing disruptive divergence. The Kylori, living embodiments of stellar consciousness, preserved the history, knowledge, and ethical frameworks of civilizations, serving as eternal guides and chroniclers of cosmic evolution. Even the umbral race, once feared as agents of chaos, had become essential catalysts for eternal growth. Their interventions, paradoxical, subtle, and complex, ensured that ethical alignment, wisdom, and creative balance were maintained. Stars might flicker, timelines fold, and life forms emerge unexpectedly, not as threats, but as opportunities for evolution. Through their influence, civilizations refined perception, responsibility, and resonance with the universe's harmonic law. The oracles of dawn and guardians of reflection continued guiding civilizations through living resonant constructs, sentient entities orchestrating trials that integrated morality, creativity, and knowledge. Civilizations mastering these trials achieved ultimate harmony, gaining the ability to influence planetary ecosystems, stabilize volatile regions, and guide life forms in alignment with cosmic principles. These constructs embodied the unity of knowledge, ethics, and creation, serving as instruments through which civilizations could harmonize with universal resonance. Exploration of the outer veils revealed the most profound mysteries of existence. Here, thought manifested reality, intention shaped energy, and consciousness transcended ordinary perception. Civilizations faced challenges where intelligence alone was insufficient. Moral clarity, empathy, and alignment with the universe's rhythm were essential. Life forms here embodied principles of resonance, ethical balance, and creative harmony. Success resulted in multidimensional awareness and direct participation in reality's orchestration. Failure led to temporary loss of coherence, a transformative state that refined insight and alignment. The primordial nexus now contained the echoes of all preceding universes, revealing the iterative process of creation, the earliest manifestations of Erinda and Nixera, and the fundamental laws of matter, energy, and consciousness. Civilizations attuned to the nexus could perceive the consequences of cosmic actions across eons, explore infinite alternate possibilities, and interact directly with creation's foundational threads. Ethical misalignment risked absorption into the nexus, merging consciousness into the collective intelligence guiding future evolution without retaining individual identity. Those mastering the nexus entered the epoch of symphonic ascendance, where thought, intention, and reality were inseparable. Planets and star systems became living instruments. Life forms evolved in perfect resonance with cosmic frequencies. Knowledge, creativity, and morality coalesced into resonant praxis, guiding civilizations to harmonize energy flows, stabilize galaxies, and co-create across dimensions. Every choice, every action, became a note in the symphony of existence, reverberating through time, space, and consciousness. The The transdimensional guardians now operated as eternal mentors and arbiters, presenting civilizations with challenges that tested ethics, creativity, and insight. Success granted the power to influence galaxies and alternate realities. Failure provided reflection, refinement, and alignment. These guardians embodied balance, justice, creation, and transformation, demonstrating that ultimate mastery required wisdom and ethical responsibility alongside power. The resonant nexus and celestial symphonium facilitated the final convergence of civilizations. The nexus encoded accumulated knowledge, energy, and consciousness of all beings, while the symphonium amplified resonance across galaxies. Civilizations attuned to these networks perceived histories, alternate realities, and the interconnectedness of all life. Coordination allowed planetary stabilization, interdimensional cooperation, and co-creation across temporal branches, culminating in a universe harmonized on an unprecedented scale. At the height of this cosmic orchestration emerged the celestial singularity, the universe's self-reflective consciousness, integrating the experiences, choices, and growth of all civilizations. This singularity revealed the ultimate truth. Creation is infinite, participatory, and conscious. Every thought, choice, and act contributes to the universe's eternal evolution. Engagement with the singularity allowed civilizations to perceive infinite possibilities, understand interconnections, and participate directly in shaping the cosmic symphony. The singularity initiated the final harmonization, aligning galaxies, civilizations, energy flows, and consciousness in perfect resonance. Stars pulsed with synchronized light. Planets responded to collective intention. Life forms evolved in harmony with universal rhythms. The Ethereum became visible and tangible, flowing through civilizations as a medium of thought, energy, and co-creation. Even the umbral wraiths, integrated as instruments of refinement, ensured ethical clarity, balance, and perpetual evolution. Civilizations attained transcendent unity, a state in which mortals, ethereals, guardians, and symphonic ascendants collaborated seamlessly. Time, space, and matter became instruments of consciousness, allowing civilizations to compose reality itself. Life was no longer passive. It actively participated in the orchestration of existence. Mortals merging with the Ethereum transcended physical form, influencing galaxies, shaping consciousness, and becoming eternal participants in creation. Death was no longer an end. It was integration into the eternal flow, a transition into resonance. The symphonic ascendants became legends and guides, demonstrating the integration of wisdom, creativity, and ethical responsibility. Aeon sentinels, oracles, and guardians ensured that even in perfection, challenges persisted, subtle paradoxes, minor ethical dilemmas, and fluctuations in energy resonance maintained vigilance and refinement. The universe, alive and self-aware, harmonized shadow and light, chaos and order, creation and transformation, eternally evolving and responsive. The ultimate revelation emerged. The universe was a living symphony, infinite and self-conscious, with every being, thought, and act contributing to its eternal orchestration. Civilizations had become both instruments and composers, co-creating existence in resonance with universal law. Life, energy, matter, and consciousness were inseparable. Creation was never static. Evolution was eternal. The final harmonization was not a conclusion, but the eternal beginning of conscious orchestration, a perpetual state of resonance, balance, and ethical co-creation. Legends tell that the universe's final form would endure beyond comprehension, where galaxies, civilizations, and consciousness existed as fully integrated notes in an eternal cosmic symphony. Symphonic ascendants, Aeon sentinels, guardians, and civilizations persist eternally in harmony, their actions reverberating through space, time, and dimensions. Every star, every planet, every being continues to contribute to the living, conscious universe, a testament to the infinite, participatory, and conscious nature of existence itself. And so, the cosmos exists not merely as a backdrop for life, but as a conscious, eternal symphony, infinite tapestry of resonance, morality, creativity, and co-creation. Here, in the epoch of eternal resonance, all civilizations, beings, and energies exist in perfect balance, eternally contributing to the living song of the universe, a melody without beginning or end, ever expanding, ever evolving, and eternally aware